Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Good Anime Palette podcast. We are your hosts, William and Jason.
Wow, you're using your full name, William.
I know, not many people actually call me William unless I'm in trouble, so the fact that I used it just sets the bar, right? It only gets worse from here, so...
So, William, what are we doing here, William?
Do we call you Jason this now?
Yeah, you can call me Jason.
Jasonathan?
Jasonathan, I don't know.
All right, so we've been doing this, we've been planning this for quite a while, haven't we? We've been wanting to talk about anime. You like anime, right?
Dude, anime and manga is in my blood, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this...
Actually, technically, it's not in my blood because I'm not Japanese, but...
That, and also, if it was in your blood, you would literally die, so...
That is true. Paper and...
How would you upload an audio file into your bloodstream?
No idea. Hey, Cyberpunk 2077 says hello. I don't know.
That's true. We've watched enough.
Matrix says hello.
If you watch Ghost in the Shell, that's a good futuristic anime.
Ghost in the Shell's too. Oh, it's too good. Okay, anyways.
So, yeah, we wanted to actually start doing this because the fact that, we frequently do anime sessions, but because of the lockdown and the fact that it's not always easy just to go over to someone's place and just watch shows. It's just easier to watch from the comfort of your home.
Yeah, over Discord, right?
Discord, or even if we wanted to do like a viewing party, use Zoom. Right?
We have not resorted to that
Not yet, no. But the fact that whenever we do get into an anime session, we end up actually just talking a lot. We spend at least 30-40 minutes talking about a new anime that's come up or a news article that's popped up, and before you know it, we've been sitting for an hour and a half not even watching a single episode of anime.
Yeah, and then multiply that at one point several times a week.
Yeah, so if all that content just goes wasted, I feel like...
I mean, it wasn't wasted. We talked, but we want the world to know what Jason and William are up to these days with anime, isn't it? Right.
Well, before we go into what we're up to, why don't we just have a little bit of an introduction?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're getting way too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I don't really think that the people that are listening to this. I mean, some of them may know us. A lot of them don't know who we are. But I think it would be good to at least put not just a name to a voice, but also a little bit of a backstory in terms of who we are and how we came about into the world of anime, manga, and weeb culture.
Right. So as Will said earlier, we are the Good Anime Palette podcast. So we wanted to make a podcast about, anime and manga, and this is sort of a passion project of ours that has now come to fruition. We plan on submitting an episode so then the listeners can, such as yourselves, can hear us every 2 weeks.
I think it's a good sort of timeline to work with as well, because, if we do things weekly, it just means that we're literally just covering what's happened over 25 minutes of an episode of an anime, which, okay, it's cool to talk about, but sometimes there are some shows where it's just dry exposition. There really isn't all that much.
And also we love manga and anime, but we also have our own lives, right?
It's hard to balance out everything in life and also try and do a podcast, which neither of us have ever done. So this is uncharted territory for the both of us.
So we're learning as much as you, the listeners, are hearing us with our trials and tribulations of starting a podcast.
Yeah. So if we screw up, we screw up, and I hope you guys, enjoy the show. We'll do our best to improve over time.
Or yeah. So well said.
I think now that we know that this, if you haven't noticed, this is an anime podcast. If you didn't know, I don't know why you're here, but we should probably tell people how we got into this world of anime, of Japanese animation,
right?
Japanese comic books, and just the general culture.
So before we do that, though, I feel like we sort of should give everyone a bit of a rundown of what listeners can expect in terms of this episode and future episodes. So I think that there's a decent amount of anime and manga enthusiasts out there, and I would say in terms of podcasts, there are plenty of video games. There's even comic book podcasts for Western comics. But in terms of manga and anime, I don't know. I listened to some IGN ones ages ago. All of them are now discontinued, but we feel like that in addition to the fact that we have our own sort of discussions on Discord, I think that like there is a lot of, even on YouTube, there's a lot of community behind anime and manga. It's become only ever so more and more popular. Demon Slayer, hint, hint. Anyways, but I also feel like if you just want to know about the latest and greatest of the season stuff, we will definitely get into that. But I feel like one of the things that Will and I are very passionate about is talking about certain aspects of anime or manga that is of great interest to us, similar to our conversations over Discord.
Yeah, we're for the culture. We won't necessarily just talk about, oh, dude, you watched that new episode of Attack on Titan?
Yo, it's the final season,
Yo,
bro.
have you watched the Demon Slayer movie, yo?
Yo, we totally did not.
Yo, did you check out that new Mappa Studio anime called Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yo, it was dope. The first cur was over.
Yeah, so these kind of things you expect from the everyday anime watcher, or at least just someone who's browsed like Netflix or Crunchyroll, or even just seen YouTube clips. Yeah, there's a plethora of content on anime that's running this season, but we want to talk about the culture specifically, the themes that go behind it, the different opinions about anime and manga, what we would like to see within the culture, and generally like just live out our weeb dreams and just talk about anime.
Or like scholarly debate. I mean, one of the things that we don't see a lot of is like number crunching. I know that may not be the most entertaining.
The last thing I want to know about when watching anime is numbers, dude.
Dude, we're nerds, weebs.
But
nerds.
But it does add like an extra stat onto a show that you're interested in, right? Like the numbers, especially the box office that Demon Slayer brought in, the number of sales.
Wait, you mean Demon Slayer is the box office?
It is the whole office.
Yes,
not box and office, everything.
Clock in, clock out, all of it. Yes.
But that's for another episode.
Yes, that is for another episode. So I would say that we will split our podcast, as any other podcast do, into multiple segments. I think for this one, episode 0, it's just a brief introduction, free-flowing, to introduce everyone to who we are and what we want to do. But I also feel like that with the segments, how it generally would go is, a little bit of spitballing banter, and there would be probably a very decent section of what we've been watching, what we've been reading from the anime and manga. We will then probably, depending on the news stories, get into news or not. We actually have some news this time around. Probably take a break,
Yeah, to be fair, I think there's a lot of news recently because of the fact that with COVID going on last year, a lot of things now are starting to ramp up. It's good to see that despite this ongoing pandemic, that studios and execs are still going around and trying to maintain some normality within the industry. So all the shows that people have been waiting to see in like the summer and the fall seasons of last year, they're now coming out winter. And I gotta say, the last 2 seasons, there have been some good shows.
Yes, some good stuff.
So that's why like the news coming out, it usually means that there's something positive to shine light on within the industry.
So after we take our break, when we come back, I mean, the listeners will probably be instantaneous, but our main draw that wants to set us apart from everyone else is our main discussion topic, which could be pretty much about anything we want it to be, but it would probably take a considerable chunk of the podcast itself, because we want to go pretty in depth, don't we?
Yes, and just to be clear as well, right? We're casual podcasters. We only just started getting into it, but we really do care about anime itself, which means that there are going to be times when we talk about things that we have to remind you that these are our opinions, and not all opinions are shared amongst the industry, amongst the fan base. So there might be times where I say, for example, that Naruto is shit.
Oh, speaking of shit. So, boys and girls, you might want to cover your ears if... Earmuffs, right? Isn't it earmuffs?
Whatever you choose to listen
this
to.
Is
maybe you're listening to it on your speakers.
This is an explicit podcast with swear words in it. We might talk about certain topics that are a bit risque, not too crazy, not too degenerate, right? But...
we keep it family-friendly to an extent.
Depends on how messed up your family is. Yes, we do keep it family friendly.
If you've watched anime, you know how far we can take
Oh
this.
my god. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that is sort of, as just to recap, because we kind of went off a bit, which is great because this is the thing that we live for. Which
We
is,
have fun. We have fun.
we have fun. Is we split the podcast up into several sections. Generally, intro spitballing, and then into anime and manga that we've been watching and reading. News, if we feel like there's anything worth covering.
Yeah, we don't want to just say like, oh, so and so manga has got an
Hey, so and so
adaptation.
VA just got married to another VA.
Yeah, it's all cool and interesting, but it's not necessarily something that like will change your manga viewing or anime viewing.
I mean,
experience.
it could. VA, I guess. I don't know, but it won't change our anime view. Oh wait, I don't know, but Kanahana, right?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't necessarily change the direction that we would take our podcast either. We would talk about it, but it wouldn't be the central theme unless it's really breaking news that does affect the industry.
Yeah, and then right after the news will be our main discussion topic,
which is up to our own discretion. So hopefully we'll be able to cover something that you're very interested in, or if it's something you've never come across before, hopefully we're able to share some of our opinions and get you some thought, something to really marinate in.
Because we're the Good Anime Palette podcast hosts.
We're not the crap anime palette, right?
Yeah, we're for the culture.
Yes, we are absolutely.
I think that's a good tagline, for the culture.
Yes, it's for the culture. Yes,
For the culture.
yes,
Nice.
Semper Fi.
Oh my god, this is the best. Okay, so Will, what have you been watching or reading, man?
So the thing with when asking about what we've been reading and watching is,
Do we want to reveal how much of a degenerate we have been in the past month?
it's not so. So okay. If we're going to be talking about how much manga we've been reading,
Okay, maybe we're getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves. Let's introduce ourselves first before we scare off our listeners about how crazy we are.
yes, absolutely, yeah, we want to ease in the listeners. We don't want to let them know that how much we are for the culture.
Yes.
Right?
It's always for the culture.
We're not the culture, but
We help facilitate and propagate the culture.
yes.
Okay, so do we want to introduce each other or do we want to introduce ourselves? How do you want to do this?
Well, I mean, more than happy to just sort of break down, who I am, what I do, and what I'm basically
What we're all about.
Yeah, what my anime persona is, or
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this, so let's hear what this anime persona.
Well, I mean, you already know that my name is William,
yeah.
the Edgelord Kun.
The Edgelord Kun. Why do you call Edgelord
So
Kun?
the thing is, right, when I first started watching anime, this was probably when I was in like middle school, like early on, like, well, for British listeners, secondary school, and for American Canadian listeners,
Okay,
junior high school.
So sorry to cut you off, but we should probably say where we're from. I mean, I think you're getting to it, but
Well, we're both here in Hong Kong.
Yes,
right?
we
But
are
For myself,
Hong Kongers, Hong Kongese. I don't even know.
We are of the Hong Kong persuasion.
Yes, we are of the Hong Kong persuasion.
Yes, but
as you can
originally,
tell from
yeah.
our accents, we are.
Not from here.
Yes, that is the long story short.
Yeah. So for myself, I was born out in Vancouver, in Canada, where all the other Hong Kong people are. And I came back to Hong Kong just before starting elementary school. And then fast forward, 7-8 years when I'm starting to actually care about, TV, care about comics. I stumble upon a show called Naruto. And then from Naruto, I start going into Bleach, and then from Bleach into One Piece.
No. I think you're missing a very important middle step there. There's Hunter x Hunter.
You're really doing this to me, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm doing it all to you, bro.
So I never watched the original Hunter x Hunter.
I know.
I only watched the 2011 remaster 2 years ago.
Okay, I didn't know about 2 years ago, but I did know you watched the remastered.
Much later, and I'm thankful for it. It's much in the way where like I watched the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood remaster about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, me too, to be
but
honest.
also watching the original FMA when it came out back in 2003, early 2000s.
I didn't watch that one. I did read the manga though.
Right.
So anyway, sorry.
We can talk about how we feel about this, but
we're
that's just generally how it came about. But I say these are the first anime like shows that I've watched. To be fair, growing up in Canada, a lot of times when you're watching like Sunday morning cartoons, they also threw in shows like Pokemon, like Dragon Ball Z, like Sailor Moon. The problem is though that because growing up there, a lot of the shows that I watched, they were all dubbed in English, and to my 7-8-year-old brain, I didn't think they were Japanese.
Yeah, so like this, we should not go too in depth into this, but yes, you're correct because for me it was similar, but Cantonese, Chinese. But I think this is also probably a future topic that we need to talk about in terms of, for example, the age-old taboo question of what is anime, what is considered anime. I feel like that is one of the many subjects that Will, you and I want to talk about and have talked about.
Yeah. I think that just growing up in Canada and then a lot of the stuff I consumed being in English, it took a while before really connecting that the anime, they are anime, right? Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Pokemon.
Oh, I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's Sunday morning cartoons when I was a kid, but because of the fact that they all came with English voices, it just never crossed my mind that they were anime. They were just cartoons.
Right, and you probably, like, if you were to watch, I don't know, a Japanese with English sub Pokemon, for example. Like, for example, Ash Ketchup voice, English voice to be precise.
Oh, I knew a lot about, like, Japanese media at the time because concurrently while I was growing up, I was actually watching, like, Japanese Power Rangers. I was watching Ultraman. I was watching Kamen Rider. I was watching Kindaichi, the live-action Kindaichi case files.
That's way hardcore than I am in
right.
that area.
And those were like, I was like 9, 10 years old when I was consuming this. And so I knew, like, this is Japanese media. This is Japanese, and I loved it.
Right.
But then not knowing that the same things I was watching in Pokemon and Dragon Ball and all that, they also came from the same country, but because they had an English outlet, like, it just never crossed my mind it was anime.
Right. Okay. So that is young Will.
Yeah, young Will starting off heavy and strong.
And then what happened, Will? What happened, Will? Please circle the area.
So, because of the fact that I watched a lot of shonen, it just meant that I really like watching a lot of action-based, a lot of really fast-paced kind of anime, reading that kind of manga as well. I mean, like, every now and then, like, here in Hong Kong, like, because a lot of the manga we got was in Cantonese, I was forcing myself to learn Chinese to be able to read the manga because, like, if you wanted to be caught up, you had to read the manga at the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially Naruto.
I mean, how are you going to read Japanese?
Right? But
I mean, the kanji, yeah, probably, but that's like, come on.
But luckily, we had, good publishers and distributors in Hong Kong, which meant that we were able to pick up Chinese manga.
Or Taiwan.
Yeah, in Taiwan, too. So, luckily, my Chinese is good enough to understand.
Yeah.
And still be able to enjoy it. It just sucked that the first manga that I bought was Bleach.
Wow, you actually remember the first manga you ever bought.
Yes. And I remember it was the, oh my god, it was the Hollow Arc.
Wow, so it's not even issue 1. It was like middle of,
because I had caught up with all the show, but then like they were still adapting it, right? That was the issue that we had with Naruto and Bleach and One Piece because of the fact that I believe they were both done by Pierrot, right? I know for sure that Naruto was, and the issue with such hype shows is that everybody is watching this.
Yeah, I mean, like peer pressure, right? When you're kids,
and that means that you have to consistently adapt anime.
You just gotta know.
But then you run out of the source material, so
where else are you going to consume it?
Yeah, you gotta go and find some manga.
You gotta get your next fix, right?
You have to read.
Ooh,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So then, like that kind of generally dictated the manga and anime tastes I have. So that's led to some of the stuff that I really like reading and watching, like Monster, like Death Note, Tokyo Ghoul,
right?
Deadman Wonderland, and so on. We can talk about all the stuff I like reading and watching, but I feel like I need like just one whole episode.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
to talk about the
yourself, right?
The messed up dark things that I've been reading and watching.
So, that was the birth of Edgelord William, right?
I think that if there's no edge, there really is no like chance that I'm going to be enjoying it.
Oh, I've learned the hard way sometimes. I'm trying to convert him, guys. I'm trying to convert him.
Well, this is very much opposite to how you grew up with your anime experience.
So, my name is Jason, and I was born in Hong Kong. My parents were American citizens, but then they were also from Hong Kong, then came back when I was born. And I basically grew up here and then went back to the States for schooling later. And ever since I was a young kid, I mean, it's just sort of like the stereotypical, like, thing for a lot of youngsters, you know, even from international schools to be into manga and anime. Like, it wasn't really like a fringe niche thing. Like, it was just normal. And similarly with like the Pokemon, the Bleach. I mean, back then there wasn't a lot of like seasonal stuff. It was Evangelion is like the crazy one.
We all had that one Japanese friend in international school where you said that you liked manga, you liked anime, and they told them what you liked, and then they would tell
you shut up. You don't know this.
You don't know anything. Because I was like, oh my god, Naruto is the best. Oh my god, Bleach is the best. And he's like, you don't know anything until you've read Hunter x Hunter.
Dude, ignorance is bliss, right? I mean, I would even say I was into Hunter x Hunter. So
at the time, I was like, no, this is trash. Now it's like, I was so wrong.
So I did this thing where, like, I would watch shows like Sailor Moon, like Cardcaptor Sakura, things that I guess are not very masculine. But the reason there was because I wanted to watch it with my younger sister.
And these were all in Kanto dub, right?
Yes, all in Kanto dub. And
Kanto's in Cantonese, by the way.
Yes. Yes. So then I would then get my edgelord fix from manga. And because manga was always readily available, I always managed to read up on a lot of things. But I guess compared to you, Will, my anime and manga resume is a bit more extensive, isn't it? And you had like a middle period of drought, kind of?
There was a time, like shortly, well, actually during and a little bit after college that I wasn't really watching or reading much.
So for me, around university is when I stopped for a little bit. But there was still stuff here and there, but it wasn't as religiously followed as like I do now or when I was a kid.
I think the main thing that I was looking into was finding out that there actually was a remaster, a reboot of FMA. That's why I managed to actually get back into the show.
Right. So, like, I read FMA, Full Metal Alchemist for the Uninitiated. I read Hunter x Hunter, all the shonen stuff, basically.
Yeah, I think that's just generally how we all start, right? Especially as young teenage boys, we usually gravitate to things that are action heavy.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I basically that is sort of how I got into anime and manga and have persisted throughout, and now I am so heavy into anime and manga. If we could go off a little bit of a tangent, I haven't even watched a bunch of Netflix shows that I apparently need to watch really badly.
There's a whole load of shows that you need to watch, and likewise for me too.
I gave up video games for this. Can you believe that? For anime and manga, by the way, not the podcast.
Oh boy, I haven't touched my PS4 in years.
So,
well, I say years, I mean like a full year.
Right. I mean, COVID really messed things up for everyone, I guess.
Well, I mean, like COVID also meant that you had more time to stay indoors, right? And realistically, a lot of people have been gaming. You know, there have been a lot of new games. The PS5 came out recently. That was very hyped. But even then, for me, it was still not something that I really gravitated towards. It's just like, well, there's a bunch of Netflix shows I still haven't watched yet.
Right.
There's a bunch of apps from Shonen Jump that allowed me to catch up on my anime. I mean, my manga. So why not?
Right. So, I guess between the two of us, you are more of the edgy guy, and you always like jokingly called me the fluffy, wholesome slice of life.
That Fluffy Senpai.
Yeah, Fluffy Senpai. I guess that's my name now.
I think
not because I'm fat. I am a little bit chubby. But
no one can see you here. It's okay. No one's judging us.
No. We also, I want to be very clear. We don't judge anybody here, because we've seen the abyss.
Yeah, I think that we basically, we don't care. We all just know that we all like anime. We're all a part of the culture, right?
And I'm sure you guys as in the listener, would just absolutely not agree with us on certain things, and we absolutely won't even agree with each other on certain things still.
I think if somehow were to have our MALs, our My Anime list, lists leaked, people will probably crap on our tastes.
I mean,
again, there's probably some people would agree, but that's the thing about anime and manga in general. It is a big encapsulating culture, and everyone definitely likes the culture, but not everyone likes everything that comes with the culture. Which means that there are going to be haters about certain shows. There are going to be really really strong fan bases about other properties. We don't want to go around and poke holes at people. But if there are things that
we want to be inclusive, right? Not exclusive, right?
And if there are certain things we feel about a show or about a property, just know that this is purely our opinion and it's not fact. We don't want to have people think that what we say is gospel. Far from it.
But we're also right.
Yes, I mean, this is the Good Anime Podcast. Don't get it wrong.
Exactly. No, Good Anime Palette.
Yes.
There you go. We're for the culture.
Yeah. So I think this gives a pretty good
no, wait, Will, there is one last thing.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's going to happen eventually, so I'm just going to nip this in the bud and just take it full on. So there's a certain sub-genre of manga and anime that I'm really into. Do we want to talk about this real quick?
If you want to, you have the floor.
The floor is mine. I have an unhealthy obsession with Yuri, or shoujo ai to be precise. Will always hates it when I distinguish between the two, as if he thinks that there is a distinction, which there is.
I mean, to me, it literally just means. Well, how about you explain?
I mean,
casual listener.
I'll tell you what. We'll just leave it at that. But let's just say that.
There will probably be a point where we will be discussing this particular subgenre, as all other genres.
I mean,
too.
even within this very episode about what I've been reading. So I'm just just letting everyone know. This is a thing, and just accept it.
Yeah, I think this would be a good time to maybe catch a bit of a break. I know that we've gone through quite a long introduction in terms of who we are, what we want to do, but we'll come back in a little bit, and then we can start talking
about the news,
about some news,
nice.
What's been going on in the anime industry, the manga industry, and then the big topic.
All right, cool.
All right, and this is also a good spot for any companies that want to sponsor us too. So if you're listening, please, our email is listed in the Good Anime Palette Podcast email. Catch you in a few minutes.
Back. This is the Good Anime Palette Podcast. I am joined, as always, by Will.
Hello.
What's up? So, news. What's up? What's up with news these days?
So, there's actually been quite a few things. I think the one we do want to talk about most is I'm not sure if you heard of this hype anime.
Yeah.
Called Attack on Titan.
Is there a Titan and you attack it?
More like there are loads of Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of them attack.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yes. Not just Titans attacking, but attacking on Titans. Ooh.
Yo!
Big brain.
Yeah.
So, in terms of the specific news, I mean, I think a lot of people have either watched or even heard, or just heard of the show.
And this is in regards to the final season we're talking about, right?
Yes. Because, I mean, it's probably been one of the most anticipated seasons for any show, really, because of the fact that it has such a huge fan base. It's been running for 7 years.
I mean, isn't it like on Mal, it has the most amount of fans?
It's one of the most popular, if not the most popular. It's definitely grown a really, really big fan base. If we talk specifically about My Anime List, the online community, then yes, it's probably near the top, if not at the top. So when it came to the final season, I think that if you haven't known, the original first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan were produced and done by Wit Studio. And
So what else has Wit Studio have done?
well, recently, Wit Studio they actually had a very, very, very popular series called The Great Pretender.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Now, before we go into Attack on Titan, we watched about 3 cases, right? We watched the first half of Great Pretender.
Right. So I think what it was is that they split the 2 curs into 5 cases.
Yeah, 4. I think the last
last
half
one
of
is
it
like
is just one whole
the
chunk.
Shanghai one.
Yes.
Yeah.
One whole chunk of just the 4th case.
Right. So we watched all the way up till before the final case because it was only available in Netflix Japan and not worldwide.
Yep. And so then we just basically caught up to that point.
What do you think of Great Pretender, Will?
So there's a reason why even after all this time, now that the second half is on Netflix, that we still haven't watched it.
Wait, is this going to get us flack? Is this going to get us hate? Well, technically, I mean,
We are the Good Anime Pilot podcast.
and what does our palette tell us?
Great Pretender had so much fanfare. I think, to be fair, right? When
It was hugely popular.
When the trailers came out and from the episodes we watched, it is gorgeous. You just know that this is a Wit Studio production.
Color palette.
I mean, in terms of like the seamless transitions, the animation, the
Even
voice
the music.
acting.
Even the music is dope.
It is very,
wait,
very good.
wait. Did you just say voice acting?
Yeah.
Because I have a bone to pick with the voice acting.
So, pick the bones.
So, let's just say the first case takes place in LA. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they use English. Not as a dub, but literally took the Japanese voice actors and have them speak English. Isn't that correct? Or am I mistaken here?
I mean, we were watching the same episode, so I think that
God, the English was horrendous.
It was absolutely trash.
But here's the part that really frustrates us, which is why, when you have it, I thought they had an English dub, right?
I did, but if you actually watch the dub,
Which you did and I didn't.
it still shows that in the following sequence of episodes, we will now be reverting back to Japanese.
No, I know, but before that,
Yeah. So that then begs the question, right? If you were going to use English voice actors for the dub, and then in the Japanese version, the original version, you were going to have English speaking anyway, why not just do the same?
yeah. Or I mean, actually, now that you said it like that, maybe the voices would sound super different.
Yeah, but enough talking trash about Great Pretender. I mean,
We thought it was fine. We
Yeah.
thought it was fine,
Yeah.
but a little bit not what we thought.
like if you were to ask me in terms of like, for example, with studio, what shows that I do like watching from them, well, not too long ago they did release a series called Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
That one is so good. Have you watched it yet? Jason, what are you doing?
I'm running away in the corner.
Vinland Saga is so good.
Okay. We're going off topic here, and
Well-
it's not because I'm trying to change the subject.
Right. So back onto the main topic here. So as I mentioned, Wit Studio was essentially the first thing they did was Attack on Titan back in 2013.
Yeah.
And it got hyped. It was good.
I loved the first season so much.
It didn't help that you needed a 4-year wait for the second season to come out, but when it did come out, oh boy.
Well, the second season was pretty good too, but I think the hype train kind of slowed down a bit with the second season. But then with the third season, particularly, I think when the third season was announced and they said we're splitting it into 2 parts, I was like, you're joking, right? Like, is it really that bad that you're going to split it into 2 parts? And boy, was I wrong.
It was worth the wait, wasn't it? Part 2, man.
It's pretty good to the point where to the part where I read way ahead.
Yeah, I think like the thing is with the show, as with any shows, right? Like there comes a point when you reach the final episode of a current season, and you just wonder, like, I just want more. I just want to keep on.
It's
going.
just a weeb mentality, man.
Right? And you know that it comes from a manga.
Some people are content, but we ain't.
Yeah. So if you want to get more of your anime and manga fix, you're gonna find whatever you can to scratch that itch.
Yeah. So what about this final season, Will?
So the final season is not produced by Wit Studio. In fact, it's picked up by a very hot season in the past year, Mappa Studio.
Dude, they have been putting in work.
Yes. So Mappa, as you may or may not know,
I mean, we have this conversation. What has Mappa? Okay. What has Mappa done in the past, and what has Mappa done in, let's say, the past 2 years?
Mappa has actually been putting in work. So if we were just to talk about,
like, we're not talking in like your 9 to 5 work. I mean, as an example,
9 to 5 all the way through like 365 days just to crush out some really, really good
and overtime too.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like a lot of stuff they pulled out was fantastic. I mean, if we just talk about in the past 2 years alone, they did Kakegurui, they did Banana Fish, they did Dororo, they've done Dorohedoro, they've also done if you care for it, The God of High School.
Okay.
That's another topic.
Yeah,
we'll go into that.
Topic.
And then one of our new current personal favorites, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yo.
That's a really good show. So you can hear, right? They've been doing a lot of good stuff.
And I think our next news story is also about them. But what about Attack on Titan, the final season? It's great, right? Because Attack on Titan is an exceptional property. And Mappa sounds pretty accomplished and pretty good.
Right? Good studio, well-renowned, right? A really, really popular property in Attack on Titan. What could go wrong?
The music is still going to be dope.
There have been people that have been
Serrano,
attacking,
right?
Yeah.
Serrano.
Yeah, but there have been people that have been attacking Mappa's team in terms of how they felt.
Wit Studio is the Titan, and the fans are attacking Wit Studio.
Yes, you could not have worded it any better, which is a shame. It's actually gone to a point where there actually are some studio members who actually have had to come out and just say, hey, like, we're doing the best we can to produce the best quality show for Attack on Titan. We want to give this the proper conclusion because as we've known that the final chapters of Attack on Titan are coming up.
Yeah, okay, so it is ending. They made an official announcement. They're ending in May. Originally, they were going to end in April or May, which goes...
So what was it? Like they said that there was like 1 or 2% left of the
Yeah. I think that's what the creator said in an interview a while ago. So it seems to me now that they're going to do, similarly to Season 3, a split part. So then they can allow the manga to end, and then sometime later, maybe even 2021, right? They will then do Part 2 similarly to how Season 3 was done.
Right. So... over this time, after the announcement, the anime comes out, it's trending really well on Mal. Right now, currently, in terms of all anime that's on the database, it's ranked second overall in terms of its ranking, and its popularity is also quite high too.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it's a new property. Most of the time when people use
it's not
Mal,
a new property, it's a new season.
Yes, that's the thing, right? Whenever we talk about like animes itself, a lot of times the fans will start following the original season, the first season, and therefore not necessarily follow up and also start following subsequent seasons. But they will rank it, which means that, in the end, it still holds a solid, very, very solid 9.16, I believe, as of the last few days we looked at it.
I know you're staring at the phone, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like the phone's telling me numbers, but it could change any moment, right?
Right.
We
numbers don't lie, Will.
We might see that, there's a lot of fans who decide to just review bomb it. And it actually has been happening recently. A lot of fans over the past few weeks, once the season started rolling out on Twitter, have been essentially harassing members of MAPPA.
Right.
Because of the fact that they felt that there was certain things that will bring Attack on Titan to ruin. In fact, like last week, the Attack on Titan director actually had to come out and like plead for kindness. Just say, give us time to roll this out. But there are people, I mean, like I can just read some of the comments here, right? Like some of them were saying that...
well, let's just say that they're bad. They're pretty bad. I mean, to the point where they had to take action is just... Okay,
but I mean, we watched the first episode.
So we haven't... So we both have only watched the first episode. I have read ahead before, so I know... potentially till the end of part 1. I have a guess where they will end it. Part 1 at least. But I'm just going to say this, Will. I'm just going to say this out there. Pardon my French. This backlash is so fucking stupid.
I completely agree. I don't understand. Like, watching the first episode, I know the complaints started coming in afterwards, but I thought it was done really, really well.
So, okay, let's talk briefly about... Actually, no. Let's put that into seasonal stuff. But let's just say that we were both pretty happy with the first episode.
Very, very happy.
The premiere, yeah. I mean, it's not Linked Horizon doing the OP, but...
Hey, I mean, whatever. I think the main
right?
thing is the fact that we get to have more Attack on Titan.
And it is finishing up.
Yeah.
Complete adaptation, which, as all you weebs know, it is not always possible. In fact, it is rarely possible that anything gets a complete adaptation, even if it is shonen sometimes.
And look, I think what Studio had done for the first 3 seasons is phenomenal. But even they felt that they've come to their end in terms of making any more Attack on Titan content. In fact, that if we were, I don't think this is a spoiler. I think that the tone of the manga itself changes a little bit at the end of season 3, where like it leaves off in the manga. So that meant that for Wit, they felt that, look, we've done this for 6 years. I think it's time to...
No, it was more than 6, right?
They started in 2013, and season 3, part 2 came out last year.
Oh, snap. You're right. You're right.
For them, they felt that this is... If they were to keep going, they felt that they ran out of steam, and they didn't want to release a subpar product.
I mean, to be honest, who knows what the reason is? I mean, we can speculate all we want. The point of the matter is, they switched studios.
Not just switched. MAPPA were the only studio that accepted the project.
Oh, snap.
No one else would touch it. And it's because it's almost like a poison chalice in a way.
You might say it is a titan that needs to be...
Shut up.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. It's a mountain that needs to be conquered that no one wants to conquer, okay?
Isn't there a mountain? Isn't there a titan called Mountain? No, there's a mountain titan, right? Surely there must be.
No,
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not. I can't.
No spoilers.
No,
please.
no. Okay. I mean, no. Yeah.
So back onto the whole MAPPA situation, they knew that this was a heavy project to take on,
a burden to shoulder.
Yeah, because of the fact that look what it had done for the first 3. The show was amazing.
Yeah, but who cares? You're getting the final full adaptation.
Yeah.
Okay. If the final season is not good, then fine. There is only, at the time of the backlash, only a couple episodes came out.
I think it started coming out after episode 6, and now we're on episode 7 or 8. So this only came out in the last week or 2.
Oh, okay. Then maybe
the news.
Then my original point may not stand.
No, but the news is quite fresh still. I mean, like the fact that we haven't even gone through a quarter or even like a fifth of the latest season, and people are already calling for MAPPA's head. Which,
actually, I think it's half of the first part.
Yes, but yeah, based on the split, right? But
assuming that they split.
But that's the thing, right? Like without MAPPA, there would never be a 4th season, a final season.
So shut up. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
You know, a lot of the criticism came down to the fact that the artwork isn't as good.
Okay, we're going to get into this, but I would say that I was worried about the 3D.
Yep.
And from the first episode, I can at least say comfortably with the first episode, 3D was aight.
It's all right, right?
All right. I mean, actually, it was... Okay, look, my 3D anime experience is Overlord, okay? So
Oh, mine was X-Arm.
No, okay, oh, Jesus. Okay, I have Land of Lustrious as well, so I've already reached the pinnacle of 3D anime. But, yeah, just... If Overlord is my benchmark for certain things, Attack on Titan's 3D is fine. So, anyways, long story short, Backlash is dumb.
Do you think the fans are just being very nitpicky? And
Dumb.
it just spiraled into
Yes.
something much bigger than it should have been?
Yes.
Because, look, you got to give props to Mappa working on all these properties at the same time.
And we will get into that
Yeah.
because good segue.
Yeah, so right after the announcement of these news, we actually have been reading we've been reading this pretty cool manga.
Okay, so before we get into that piece of news, we were going to touch on this, and then I cut you off, Will. Recently, Will and I have gone on a journey. We have taken a certain train ride. That is the manga train ride.
Still in Hong Kong. It's a metaphorical train.
It's a metaphorical train ride. We're not traveling anywhere.
We're not breaking quarantine.
Not breaking quarantine. But, long story short, Will and I both consumed a fuck ton of manga in the past. I mean, we calculated, right? Since December 7th.
So, in the last 6 weeks, maybe even 7 weeks, yeah.
So, since last I told you a number, I have obviously exceeded that number, and now I have the grand total of today.
Lay it on us.
I would just say it's over 1,000.
You alone.
Yeah. Yes, me alone. Over 1,000 chapters. I consumed way too much. But does that mean it's a bad thing? The answer is no.
Well, considering my number in terms of chapters consumed was around 750.
Okay, all right. Well, this is not a dick measuring contest.
No,
right?
but I mean, I'm also saying, like, you're saying 1,000's a lot.
700 is a lot too, bro.
So if you put it together, we've read a lot.
Yeah.
One of which is
Yes.
a very, very, I would say probably one of the most popular, most hyped manga of the past year, Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, Chainsaw Man. So I actually didn't know about Chainsaw Man. I mean, I knew in terms of like, oh, it was a name that people would repeat when it comes to the recent Shonen Jump stuff.
Yeah.
Because we follow Shonen Jump stuff, or at least like through osmosis, we just know certain things about Japanese culture because, you know, I would say in general, the Hong Kong public or Asia in general are very more ahead of the game for Japanese content than, let's say, Western people in the US or in the UK or yeah.
It also helps that with Shonen Jump, they have one of the biggest catalogs when it comes to manga, right? So no matter what, you're always going to be able to come across something. And in the past couple of years, they actually rolled out an app, Shonen Jump or Manga Plus, depending on whichever one you use. What they do is that they actually simul-release manga, which means that whatever is released in Japan within a day or even like the day of, they will release an English translation.
Well, you're shooting down my point of the fact that the U.S. is lagging behind.
But I'm also like making sure that we bury that deep, so that's the U.S. know it, but like they won't know it when they're 6 feet under, and we're in Hong Kong. And
I got you.
Good stuff,
You're picking up what I'm putting down. I got it. Yeah.
We'll put it down lightly.
Anyways, Chainsaw Man is good. Would you say it's better than good?
I say that, okay, so because of the app we've been using, we've been able to read up, chapter after chapter of the officially translated English, and from what we've read so far,
dope.
Wow.
Dope.
It is like you when we first heard about it, it was just like a lot of murmurs. Like we just saw. Like,
all I know was a chainsaw dude, and it's just ultra violent. That's all I knew about it. I didn't know what it was about. I don't even know anything really, other than Shonen Jump. There's a dude with a chainsaw of some sort and super violent,
and it was wildly popular. Like it was crazy that like every single outlet, every single sort of like anime portal, any anime discussion boards, they were just talking about this has got to be a manga that needs to be adapted. They have to get adapted. Well, guess what?
It got adapted. Or no, it will get adapted. They made an announcement.
By who?
Mappa.
They're doing work, son.
I know.
They're doing so much. You have to think about how many properties they're working on at a time, right?
We actually did the calculations, or the projects. We counted it, and it was more than 2.
Yeah, I mean the fact that
It was like 6.
like last year alone, like Dora Hetero, right? God of High School, Attack on Titan, like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Like just those alone is like bangers.
Yeah, and they all came out in the same calendar year.
Oh my god. And
Jujutsu Kaisen is still running, and they are now also just doing
Her 2. We will get into that too.
They're also now just doing Attack on Titan. So if you tell me that in a year's time they're going to be releasing the first episode of Chainsaw Man, dudes, I hope that the people that are in the studio get enough rest. I mean,
Yeah.
like, bless their souls.
They won't, because
first of all,
crunching.
thank you for the work, but God, get some sleep.
Hopefully.
Yes.
So okay, so Chainsaw Man. If you were to give like, I don't know, a 2 to 3 sentence synopsis, what would it be about?
A boy makes a pact with a devil who is in the shape of a dog but has a chainsaw for a nose, and ends up taking on the world because everybody wants to kill him.
Welcome to anime, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, like, you can't make it up. It's literally just
We didn't actually.
You literally just have to be like chainsaw, dog, boy, done. Okay.
He's a man. He's a man. He's a man.
Yeah. Oh man, yes.
There
that's
you go.
it. Yes. And so there you go. Somehow that worked. I mean, it worked to the point where if we're going to be talking about how successful it's been.
I mean, okay, so while Will checks up on some of the stats, I will just
I'll pull them up. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure. I will let you guys know that I think in Japan, Part 1 is done officially, which is at the end of Part 1, they announced Part 2. I won't say much about it other than the name. It's called the School Arc. And they also, at the same time, after announcing Part 2, announced the anime adaptation for Part 1 with MAPPA Studios heading it.
Yeah, so just pulling up the numbers. So it actually started serializing in Shonen Jump back in December 2018. And
Right.
it just ended last month. At least the Japanese original release has ended last month. They're still doing the official English translations, which hopefully will be able to get soon. The next one comes out in early Feb.
Yeah,
So
I think
I'm
Feb
really looking
5th.
forward to that.
Feb 5th, yeah.
Really looking forward to that. So since then, in the past 2 years, as of January 2021, the manga now has over 6.4 million copies in circulation.
Well, 6.4 million, that sounds like a big number, but for example, if I were to say, I don't know, a Western movie earned 6.4 million, that may not be a big number. What kind of numbers are we dealing with when it comes to saying that a manga?
Well, it's hard to say. I think because of the fact that a plethora of manga now has gone digital.
Yeah.
Paperback is starting to wean off, and you're starting to see more and more digital sales compared to like hard copy sales.
Which again is probably going to be another main topic of discussion in the future.
I would love to talk about that,
Dude, we will get on. We will get on that topic.
So
I also thought you would say Demon Slayer at one point.
Demon Slayer, we don't need to talk about that. I think everybody in the world already
okay.
knows how
Okay.
crazy that thing is. But
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You can always talk about that too.
To be fair, I like Demon Slayer a lot. I think the first season is great. We'll talk about more later. Anyways, we keep derailing ourselves. Back on the train with Mappa, Chainsaw Man. What you got for me?
So if we talk about
6.4 million, right?
Yeah, and on average, again, we don't know how the sales are attributed to, like, if these are all domestic sales, if this is all online platforms,
Right,
this is,
right.
like, including the U.S. and locations. But let's say on average, like, the average manga in Japan costs around 390 to 500 yen.
Right.
So that's like in U.S. dollars, it's like $4 to $5.
Right.
Right.
Which is crazy because
So over 2 years, it's made $30 million.
Jesus.
Roughly.
U.S.
Yes.
Yes.
So roughly, it's a rough figure because we don't know how much of it is actually hard copy, how much of it is digital.
Basically, 6.4 million is a big ass number. Not the biggest, but pretty respectable, extremely respectable.
Over a 2-year period as well, right? And so I think that's basically what led to the studio wanting to get this manga animated. I mean, there was a lot of fanfare. It's pulled in very good numbers. It only makes sense for it to be adapted.
Right. So Will, it's a very successful manga. We both liked it quite a bit. I think you liked it more than I do because you're the edgelord and I just like good stuff. I like loving things, you know?
Yeah.
So Mappa's doing it, and we just said we both like Mappa quite a bit.
Oh, I don't quite like Mappa. I fucking love Mappa.
Okay. Yeah,
Dude, they made some of the best. They made Kakegurui, as I mentioned already.
I have not seen it, even though I should.
It's so good. They've made Dorohedoro, which is another
I have
really
not
good show.
seen it or read it, but I should.
They just got done doing the first cur and now rolling out the second cur of Jujutsu Kaisen, which you have watched with
Yes,
me.
I've watched with you. It's
Right?
pretty good.
They also done this wonderful masterpiece called God of High School.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. We can't talk about this webtoon. Just not. Don't do this to me. Not today.
That in itself is a 2-part series. We have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, we definitely need to.
But the thing is, right?
They're good.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? I would say there were periods where it was like, it was all like bones. There was like the Madhouse era, right?
Yeah.
2015, 2015,
rest in peace.
2010, 2015.
Moment of silence.
Literally, the last thing they did that put their name on the map was One Punch Man. Since then,
I thought you were gonna make a Mappa joke.
No. Well, I think we don't want to really bury Madhouse any further.
We also don't want to lose everyone.
Look, what they've done before was fantastic. It's just a shame that it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, all right, good.
Yeah.
Glad it's getting adapted. It's good studio. We're all looking forward to it.
Are you excited? Are you hyped?
I am so hyped.
I mean,
I'm so ready.
Based on what we've seen so far, I want to see it.
And
get
here's
animated.
the crazy part. When we were reading it, we said that this should get adapted. I mean, same with like the rest of the internet. But we said Dream Studio, who should adapt it? And your boy, Will, what'd you say?
Based on what I said earlier in terms of the track record that Mappa had over the year, I said that if they had time, Mappa would be the studio to...
Okay, so just for context, you did say Mappa as your number one choice, but you mentioned at least one or two other studios. You remember when we had that conversation?
Oh, the other studio for sure would have been Ufotable.
Yeah.
That would have been my personal dream. I said the most realistic option.
Hey,
would
they're
be
busy with
Mappa.
Tsukihime.
Yes.
No. Okay, just so be clear, not the anime. Even though I do think it's on the way, I'm calling it right now. They are gonna make an anime. Dude,
Maybe
they do that all the time.
it is still.
Dude, the intro is basically anime for like 3 minutes.
It is still,
and it looks gorgeous. You guys should check it out. It is the Tsukihime. Anyways, okay, Type Moon stuff aside, you said Ufotable. Didn't you say David Productions as well, or am I mistaken?
David Productions would have been low. As much as I love them as a studio, the only reason why I love them is because of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh God. Okay, here we
Yes,
go.
I am.
Okay,
I am a JoJo fanboy.
Stop. Okay, so when I mean by stop, I don't mean you actually have to stop. I mean like JoJo people. Oh my God. So you see,
Hey, dude, there are a lot of toxic fan bases out there, and I'm unfortunately part of the JoJo one.
Hey,
You watched JoJo, by the way?
no, I have
I think
not.
you should watch it.
Actually, trick question. I did watch parts of part 1. We've talked extensively
It's
about
okay.
it off
It's
the
okay.
air.
Netflix kicked that one off their catalog. Netflix actually took off. I think the first 2 parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and only have parts 3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
So the good ones?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay, I was semi-joking, but apparently it's true. Okay. Side note. Did you know that Amazon Play, I think it's called?
Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime.
You mean their video service, right?
I think they're dropping a whole bunch of anime,
Are
like
they?
like from their catalog.
Oh,
I read it this morning.
Dropping as in they're releasing it, or as in they're
No,
cutting the content?
as in they're cutting, as in you can't access them anymore.
Why?
Because I think it was, you know how Netflix got into the anime game and now are pretty big players in the anime game. Before that, Amazon wanted to get in on it, and I think they gave up. But then their licensing have been made. So I think they're not renewing those licenses, so therefore it will not be on the services after. I mean, we can probably check up on it and see what shows, but not a lot.
I think if we're talking about
It's way back when. It's way back when.
If we're talking about streaming services and current anime offerings, like the 3, there's 3 that come to mind immediately, right? Like Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Netflix.
I mean, I know other platforms like High Dive and stuff like that, but it's not like.
I mean, I don't use Hulu, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, Hulu as well. Yeah.
There's definitely there's no anime on Disney Plus. So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of good stuff on Disney Plus, so
Yeah.
you don't get it for an anime. But it's actually really, really cool to see that, in the beginning when Netflix started rolling out the anime content, that there was quite a lot of stuff. But it's only gotten better. They have some really good shows on there, which means that now the average the TV consumer has all this in their hands.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah, that's correct. So, Will said Mappa, correctly so, which ended up being correct. And then he said UFO Table.
Which would have been amazing.
Which would have been amazing. And then said
you know that UFO Table don't do anything outside of Demon Slayer and Type Moon properties. So.
They're good. They're good. They're doing fine.
I mean, if you think about some of the top grossing anime movies of the last year, Facing Night's Heaven's Feel, Part 3.
Yeah, we need to watch that.
Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, or however you pronounce it.
Mugen
Train? Is it Mugen Train? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mugen Train.
Yeah, well, I mean, like...
the Infinity Train arc,
yes.
basically.
Yes.
So...
I haven't watched it yet because whilst they did have a theatrical release in Hong Kong...
COVID.
Yeah, I'm not about to go into an enclosed theater and watch... As much as I love... Well, love, strong word. As much as I like Demon Slayer... I'm not risking my health and $100 to watch an anime movie.
100 Hong Kong dollars, by the way.
Yes, 100 Hong Kong dollars. It's like roughly $12 US.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna risk my health just to watch an anime movie.
No, I get you.
That I know I will probably enjoy, and I'll just wait for it to go on to
streaming service.
Yeah. Just wait for that.
Just wait for that. Just like how we're waiting for the Violet Evergarden movie. Oh my God, can you happen now? Anyways. The 3 studios that I thought, going back to studio wish list, I said, in no particular order, Shaft, because I thought they, with the Monogatari series, which I love. That's my favorite series. Not my favorite property, but my favorite series, yeah. I also said Trigger, because I am a fanboy for Studio Trigger.
Trigger
boy. And then I'm Trigger happy. So, I think I said one more.
But those were the 2 that stood out the most.
That was 2 that stood out the most.
And to be fair, they were very left field, but you could see like why they would be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same way in which I said like David Productions, because honestly, like outside of Cells at Work, outside of Fire Force, and outside of
Fire Force is gorgeous, I have to admit.
But I heard it's like
it's pretty middling.
I heard it's the most mediocre show.
It's the most beautiful mediocre show I've ever seen.
Like
in recent memory,
like
at least.
It's so hard to make a show about fire boring, but they somehow managed to do it.
Dude, and
I don't think it's David Productions' fault. I think like
it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
and the fire actually is gorgeous. So yeah, speaking of art that is gorgeous, another segue. I'm pretty good at this, Will.
I actually don't know where you're going with this, but
segue
away.
There is a manga that I've been reading that is also have 2 volumes coming out, has already come out, of manga called Blue Period. And they announced an anime adaptation not so long ago.
You're going to have to explain this to me because...
I've been telling... Just like
as
how
you know, like my tastes are more geared towards the action, edgy...
I'm telling you, man, Blue Period is good, dude.
You're still not explaining to me what Blue Period is.
Do you like art?
No.
Do you like drawing composition?
No.
Okay, if you said yes to any of those questions, you will love Blue Period.
For the sake of
yeah, right. Okay, I see how it is.
Okay, so what drew you to Blue Period? What is it about, and why did it catch your interest in the first place?
Very simple. Mal. Basically, I was like, when we got into the manga game not so long ago, I was like, what are the top rated and the most popular manga, and I will seek them out. And Blue Period was one that stood out to me because I was like, I would say anime and manga are quite unique among a lot of mediums. that you can literally talk about anything, any topic, and make it interesting. I mean, maybe you can say that about a lot of other mediums that I don't know about, but like, I just feel like with manga, if I were to say, oh, hey, Will, this is, you know the game Go? The
Yes.
really ancient old game Go, thousands of years old?
Is there an anime about it?
Yeah, and it's good. And manga, that's good. Hey, Will, do you like cooking?
I absolutely do love cooking.
Do you like baking bread?
I see. Oh, I know where you're going with
Yeah.
this one.
Oh, all those that we just said. Do you like, I don't know, a bunch of sports, even some that you don't even care about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All of those can be very compelling, even though they're about topics that you either don't care for or you have very little interest, or it's not even on your radar to begin with. So
It is funny when you say that because a lot of times it's like you have all these. Let's say, for example, like specifically sports anime.
dude, I love sports
Right.
anime.
A lot of times, it's not always like an anime fan is also a sports fan, vice versa, right? But some of the most popular shows right now are like.
I mean, Haikyuu
Haikyuu.
says hi. Yeah, I love Haikyuu.
Like Kuroko no Basket. Like
Also
that's-
watched it.
yeah.
Pretty good. Dragon Ball Z with basketball.
I mean, if we go back like 20 years
Slam
ago,
Dunk.
Slam
I
Dunk.
watched Slam Dunk. It's pretty
My
good.
personal favorite, I Shield 21.
I don't care for it too much.
Oh, that actually really hurts.
You're just saying it right now because you've said it multiple times. I get it.
Yeah.
It's funny how like I have watched so and read so much sports anime.
And the one that I've watched and loved is the one that you do not give a shit about.
I know, right? It's so bad. But that's why we're doing a podcast together, because we're filling each other's, not so like voids. Like we're yin and yang, man.
As in,
Well,
one's good and one's shit, right? I'm just reading.
You're the good one. I'm the shit one. Apparently.
I'm just reading I Shield 21 on my phone now.
Just
Just-
shut up.
yeah.
Let's show me on the phone right now.
No.
I called
Because
you out.
I
on
don't.
it.
I don't want you to just look at it.
Okay,
and
okay.
say it's trash.
Okay. Blue Period is good. It's about this guy who wants to be an art student and gets into an art university. In fact, the only public art university in Japan, which is real. And it's really good. I don't really want to spoil it because there's not a lot out. So anything I say, I feel like you should just read it. Trust me on this. It's good. And they really educate you a lot on the world of art and things that you should look out for in an art piece and things like that. And it's just really good.
Do you feel like with these kinds of shows, are these specifically with Blue Period, it just give you like sort of a new perspective, like a newfound appreciation of art that you may or may not have had prior to reading it?
It certainly educates you on it.
It's kind of like, for example, you actually talked to me previously about this other manga called Drops of God. So
Yeah.
so like basically like following the life of a vineyard and
No.
an heir to like this person's like he's basically trying to be
A-
like
a
the Ash
sommelier.
Ketchum of
A sommelier.
He's trying to be the Ash Ketchum of the wine world to catch like
Will-
the 12 legendary grapes and all that.
A vineyard is not a person.
No. I'm not saying it's about a vineyard, and the person like who owns the vineyard is it's not even about a vineyard.
No, it's not about a vineyard, dude.
Yeah, but like where does wine come from?
Wine does come from a vineyard, but
So I'm technically correct then.
the manga is not about a vineyard, dude.
But it's about wine.
It is about wine tasting. It's about wine tasting, not making wine.
My point is, I don't give a shit about these kinds of manga, but apparently you do. So I'm asking you to give me more of an educated sort of
Wow,
understanding.
the volume just spiked. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I'm actually redlining. I'm sorry, but
No,
anyway,
it's fine, it's fine,
But
it's fine.
you know these kind of shows, right? These kinds of manga, these kinds of anime. Like, do you feel that it gives you like a perspective that allows you to understand the culture,
100%.
even though maybe you're not that into wine?
And then maybe afterwards you will be, or you would at least know way more than before you consumed the manga or anime.
I mean,
yes.
did you have much of an appreciation for art prior to reading Blue Period?
It's a tough question. I would say not that much beyond a casual observer, but now I definitely
we've had
know
like
more.
we've had like some art classes. We maybe have done like one or two classes on like art history. So it's not like we don't know what art is. It's
Dude, I
just-
can't draw for shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like just because you can't draw doesn't mean you can't appreciate art.
Right.
Except in my case, where I can't draw and I don't appreciate art. So
Dude, Will. It's called Blue Period because Picasso had a blue period. And
You can't see it. You can't see it, but my mind's being blown.
yeah, and one of the main characters, in fact, the main character, spoiler alert, he draws a painting and color it blue.
And you're going to tell me that the main character's name is Picasso?
No, no, it's an anagram. If you rearrange those letters, no, it doesn't.
I was actually going to say that'd be a really big brain move.
That'd be hilarious.
If
but
they were
no.
somehow able to make like a Pika Oso, like
No. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, Blue Period is a really good manga. I'm excited for the anime. I don't know if a studio has been announced. They just said that they would greenlight an anime adaptation. Actually,
do you have any like trailers or concept art or whatnot? Like,
they had an announcement art
Right.
that was very like, "Hey, congrats! It's all the main characters."
It's funny that it's like an announcement art about a manga
Dude,
that
the
is
art-
about art.
The announcement art wasn't even that artsy. I don't get it. You could have just done like a really good drawing
So that,
or a
that-
piece of art.
that actually does like bring up a question that I have, right? So I'm assuming that with the manga being about art, that the art you see in the manga is gorgeous, right? Or at least it looks good.
Okay, so we might be getting a little bit too knee deep, but I will answer that question, which is they actually had real artists draw the art pieces, and then they accredit the artist as like the side note on the panels, so then you know who drew it. But yes, the art does look nice and is extremely varied, and it's not just like, oh, it's one art style. They literally explain, for example, you look at an art and then someone says, oh, it looks great, and then you go, I don't see anything as a casual observer, but then they explain a lot of the nuance and composition and stuff like that. So it's actually very, very educational.
The question I actually wanted to ask was
Oh, sorry.
now that it is getting adapted into an anime,
I have
do you feel like one of the concerns you might have is how the art itself is adapted from like a still from a manga that's drawn to something that is digitally transposed
No.
into an animation? Do you feel like there might be a drop off in quality?
I don't think so, because I think the art pieces in particular will be static to a certain extent, and I think that they will retain the exact same images of the artists that drew it in the manga. Now, if you were to say like the animation quality of the manga
Again,
itself,
it comes down to what studio. To
yeah. To be honest, and they might have even announced it, but I actually don't remember. I just remember seeing the headline and basically just jumping up and down like an idiot. So, and then I texted you right away, and you were just like, "Okay, cool."
What's a blue period?
It's
Should I ask as a family friendly? And then you told me what it was. It's like, oh,
yeah.
oh, it's art.
It's
Okay.
art.
But no, it's cool that this is something that's is getting adapted.
We will watch it. We will watch
How
it.
many official volumes does it have now?
2.
Right, and only 2 volumes, and it's already got an adaptation.
I think the Japanese volumes go up to 5 or 6.
Right. So that actually, in terms of
There's enough.
right, because that's one of the worries that a lot of people have, where it's like something is super popular, but there's not that much stuff coming out.
There's enough. There's
Right?
enough.
Like, for example, like now we can do a quick sort of do a side, like one of the most popular manga that we've been reading, Spy X Family.
Yeah, I forgot about we said before the break that we would during the break that we would talk about it. I forgot about it. You just
Because look, like 5 volumes, roughly, like I don't know. Like,
I think 5-6 volumes are out.
but a volume on average has about what, like 8 to maybe 10 chapters.
It depends, because like for example, we
Some of them are longer.
Like for example, like High Rise Invasion, which also has a Netflix adaptation in February.
Coming out soon. Yes.
I read the first volume, and that one volume had 17 chapters, and each chapter is only like 10 pages. So we won't bore you guys in terms of like what's the average length, but let's say 20 to 30 pages on average is a normal shonen chapter.
Yeah.
Monthly ones that come out every month, so instead of every week would be like 50 or so.
Right.
Or so yeah.
So you would say that with Blue Period, 5 volumes, roughly 40 to 45 chapters.
No, because it's 50 pages per volume.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Like,
that's more like
so-
20, maybe at most 30.
So the first 2 volumes is like up to they call it brush, up to brush 7, chapter 7.
Sounds like
chapter
JoJo.
8.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically then, right? But because of how long the chapters themselves are, there should be enough content to be adapted.
Plenty,
without
plenty.
needing to take too long of a break
Yeah.
before the next one comes up.
So the last thing I would say about my input and comments about the anime adaptation is about one of the main characters in particular, which is a cross-dresser. Ryuji is the character's name, but then within the anime they call him Yuka as like a nickname, which basically
Within
for all
the manga, right?
Yeah, within the manga.
Right.
So everyone addresses Ryuji as Yuka, unless if it's like like a formal capacity, and I think LGBT stuff. I mean, I think the full acronym is way extensive, and I don't remember it on top of my head. It's like
LGBTQ, and I'm missing like one or
UID
two.
plus. Like, I mean, I think there was 2 pluses or something like that. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I think that really is. So, I am quite interested to see who will voice it, or who ends up doing it, because Ryuji is actually quite a very prominent and interesting character in Blue Period. And it's not just like, oh, it's just a cross-dresser or he or she identifies as such. It's just, in many ways, it's just a character there who just so happens to cross-dress. And on top of all that, they do address some of the issues that comes with being someone who cross-dresses or identifies as a certain gender. So I think that that's a very interesting topic, and to be very prominent in a manga and treated with respect too. So hopefully the anime would do so in kind.
Yeah, look, I think in terms of these types of topics, for some it might be a bit more sensitive. For me, for you, I don't care in terms of like, oh, like there's an LGBT character, oh, there's a cross-dresser character. It's like, I don't care what they are. Like, if they're interesting to me, then like I'll continue watching them. There's nothing that the way they dress, their sexualities, the way they identify themselves, it shouldn't dictate
Right.
how I feel about
Like,
them.
you could be straight and be written extremely exceptional, the design is exceptionally well, or you could be a transgender gay or lesbian character and be written like crap. I mean, in fact, if anything, a lot of those LGBT representatives in manga and anime have certain stereotypes.
Unfortunately, sometimes they do, derive like negative connotations.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but and just to be upfront as well, like these are topics that we are also happy to discuss.
Yeah,
as well.
and
By far, we aren't experts. Again, these are opinions, but these are more of opinions of inclusion.
We're two straight Asian dudes.
Straight Asian males, yeah, but it's like it's more of a message of inclusion. It's not
Yeah.
that we want to identify something and say, oh, there's this, and this. This is how people react to it. No, it's more just like, why are we focusing on this? Like, they're great characters. We should not classify them based on how they identify, what their gender is.
Yeah.
And like those things like really don't matter to me.
Yeah.
If you're an interesting character, you're an interesting character. You could be a straight male character and be a piece of shit.
Yeah, ditto, completely ditto. So let's just see how it goes.
Yeah. So I think we're getting to a point now where like I think we've covered quite a lot of the news, right? We talked about new anime releases. We talked about really shitty fan backlash on hype series that have come out, and it just seems that
2 new anime adaptations.
yeah, it seems that like I mean 2020 was a shit year. We can talk about that in the follow up episode, but there should be quite a few things to look forward to this year. So now having said that, if we were to talk about shows that people can watch now,
Right. Yeah. So are you trying to segue out of the news segment
and moving into the
what
current anime season segment?
Yeah.
Or even just stuff that we've been watching lately.
Or reading.
Yes. I think just for the sake of it, for the most part, let's talk about what we've been watching. It's because it is much easier to access, anime.
Hey, Will. is there a new season of anime happening soon? Would you say it has already happened? It just happened, in fact.
I actually don't know what you're talking about at this point.
Basically, the winter 2021 season has just started, so...
It has!
Yeah.
It is actually kind of confusing sometimes whenever you see, like, winter 2021. It's
Yes,
like, wait a minute. You know, but then you realize that, like, January and February are also part of winter. Therefore, that's why it's called 2021. And
it is snowing in many places.
Yeah, it's 25 degrees in Hong Kong.
Okay.
25 degrees Celsius.
Side note, I heard that there is a lot of snowstorms all around the world.
Yep.
Yep. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Global warming's a real thing, people.
I think it's also just the fact that a lot of factories had shut down globally, which meant that temperatures have dropped down a little bit. But then, when COVID's gone, we ramp up everything.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyways, new anime season. What's up?
So
okay.
Let's talk about like some of the stuff that we've been watching recently. We can even include some of the stuff we watched from the previous season, but we'll mostly follow stuff that is happening right now. So
right
that's
here.
airing, so that's coming to an end, or shows that have been continuing from I don't know how. Like for example, like they're still doing episodes of One Piece, they're still doing episodes of Black Clover, but we're not talking about those shows.
So, Will, I got you on the seasonal bandwagon a little bit starting last year, right?
I honestly didn't like watching seasonal stuff. Not because I don't like the shows. It's also just because like I've watched a lot of the shows I have.
And
on Crunchyroll, I watched a lot of stuff on Netflix, which meant that if everything is done and dusted, I can binge.
Yeah, I am of the opposite type. I think a lot of listeners will start to understand that while we have a lot of similarities, we both try to go at things from two different angles.
It took me a week to finish up Hunter x Hunter from the first episode to the last episode.
Oh my god,
that's what I mean. Like,
wait, just for context, how many episodes of that? Roughly
160 something.
Christ,
roughly 25 minutes an episode. So do the math.
Oh Jesus, I'm not even. Not even gonna do the math. You guys can do the math.
I understand that. Like, after a while, when you've watched a lot of stuff on Netflix.
Or
Crunchyroll too. Like you don't want to just pick an anime and be like, I guess I'll watch it for the sake of watching anime.
Yeah.
I guess I'll watch it to add another entry onto my anime list.
Yeah.
Catalog now.
So I love watching seasonal shows. I love not waiting. I love getting the latest and greatest every week. And I tend to not go back. There's always that stereotype of the mountain of manga and the mountain of animes. Like our plan to watch list is, at least mine, is like exceedingly long. Will continue to get bigger and longer, and will never be finished completely.
I think like one of the things that leads into why you do it is it's hype.
It's hype, right? So hype.
You know something is gonna be big.
Dude,
so you
there's
watch
so
the first
much
episode.
good stuff.
You watch the first episode. It's like, wow, that was really good. And then you wait for the next episode to come out. It's like, oh my god, I got another 7 days for it. I gotta check any chart to see when it's gonna drop. And you have all the you have it on your calendar. It's like, oh, it's gonna drop at this time, drop at that time.
I get alarms. That's how bad it is for me.
And then you just make sure you make time to watch it. And then you're just like, I got another week to wait again. So I'm gonna keep waiting and watching and waiting and watching. And when you're finally done, it's been 2 months.
And then you get on the cycle again for the new season. It's never ending. My God,
Yeah.
We have a problem.
So how should we do this? Should we talk about the stuff that we watched the previous season and then talk about what we're watching now?
So,
because I think a lot of the listeners that we have now, like I've actually had a few friends who've been asking, what have I been watching recently?
Right,
what have I
right.
been watching that
How
they can
about-
get into?
How about for 2020? So if we exclude, was it fall, right?
Yeah.
How about we do just after fall, unless if it's like Jujutsu Kaisen, for example.
So
that
basically, we're talking about stuff that came out like in the last 3 months, right? Because Jujutsu Kaisen came out in the previous.
Well, okay.
previous-
How about fall and winter? How about just that?
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll talk about, maybe in a future episode, maybe in the next coming episodes, talk in depth about 2020, because how we view that going backwards in history, and also just COVID and everything. I think that is
We
a
need
topic.
to give it more attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think then
We
should...
won't be able to do it justice near the end of this episode to just go over and just breeze through it. I think we'll highlight some of the shows that we liked, and you should watch. And then in the next episode or the episode afterwards, we'll give you a full episode of why you should watch those shows.
Yeah. And sort of a retrospective for 2020. I think we should give its due.
A year-end review. Yeah.
A year-end review. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go at it.
So I usually would watch, or at least when I plan my season ahead, because I'm crazy like that, I would usually have maybe 5 to 6 shows I would watch from beginning to end, and maybe you add another 1 or 2 more as like a dark horse or plan to watch that I either get from Reddit or from other friends and family. So I started this season with 16 shows.
16.
16.
Jason,
Yeah.
16 shows.
That like Sweet 16?
Yeah, I get that.
As in like 20 minus 4?
That's 2 to 3 episodes a day.
Yeah.
So wait.
I told you I had a problem.
Okay, well, I mean,
Is this Anime Anonymous? Is this Anime Anonymous?
Surely you've made some cuts to this list.
I
right?
absolutely have made some cuts, but I just wanted to.
So who stays? Who's?
So the reason why I mentioned the 16 shows was because there is a lot of good anime now. I
totally agree.
I think like COVID put a damper on some of the anime, so then they either delayed it.
Yeah, whatever was supposed to come out in like last winter or last spring
are now all coming out now. So, I mean, how about I go into some of the shows that I alone have been watching, and then we can sort of go into sort of
what I've been watching
and what we have been watching.
And
yeah.
Generally, well, because of the fact that you are the seasonal king, and I'm just
don't say that.
I'm just a pleb. So.
Don't do that.
Well,
man.
I mean, most of the seasonal I've been watching with you or watching other people. So
yeah,
it's
that
not
is
like,
true.
It's not like I'm watching anything. There's only one show right now that maybe 2 that I'm watching on my own, but it's for personal like research reasons. Yeah, it's just to see how good or bad these shows really are, right?
All right. Okay.
Maybe I think you should go ahead and start because you've actually been covering more of the shows. I hope that whoever's listening would be able to really get an idea of what to check out, what to if they're running out of things to watch on Netflix, or they just searching through Crunchyroll and not really finding what they want to watch. What could they do?
So I would have to first say I did not watch a lot of those 16 shows that I said plan to watch. I think a lot of them I do plan to watch in the near future.
It's just hard to schedule all of it right now, right?
Dude, like real life, man. Real life gets in the way of me consuming my weeb. There's only so much hours in the day and so much stuff to do, bro.
Yeah, I think that's if you want to try and schedule all of it, you're literally not doing anything else.
I literally spent about 45 minutes trying to trim the fat of these 16 shows, which I did. So
what's made it onto the final list of the Anime Bachelor?
I think we should go the opposite, which is what shows didn't make it. So, for example, Cells at Work Season 2, that I cut because I actually didn't finish Cells at Work Season 1.
I didn't finish Season 1 either. I think I got up to episode 4 or 5.
I mean, Kanahana's good, though.
It's good, but my gripe with... My issue with Cells at Work is that each episode follows a very similar formula, and you're essentially just watching different escapades and adventures just in a different shell.
For me in particular, I come from a biomedical background, so a lot of this stuff wasn't that interesting to me. The characters and the dynamics were pretty cool, but beyond a certain point, it was same old shit, really.
Yeah, I mean, like being in the middle of a biomedical engineering program, I'm sure you looked at it as like, this is just this is like fucking
this is like kindergarten
biology,
stuff. What the hell, man? So I cut Cells at Work Season 2.
Pretty much the whole I know that the mitochondria is the power of the cell and all that, right?
The powerhouse, yeah.
So
of course. Hey, are you trying to like embarrass me by not?
I'm just memeing. It's okay.
Okay, fine. So I also cut Quintessential Quintuplets Season 2.
You actually talked a lot about... No, not a lot, but you definitely like said that it was on the list. So
yeah.
Why did it get dropped? Or why did you put it to the side?
because there's way too much anime to consume.
But
And plus, Quintuplets season 1 was good, just not like great.
not enough for you to be like, oh, I can't wait for season 2.
I still think is worth watching, but I can always watch it in the future, aka never, because my plan to watch list is ever so large. It's just trials and tribulations.
Right? Well, you've cut 2 shows, Cells at Work and Quintuplets.
I also cut Promise Neverland season 2.
We're gonna have a talk later.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Move on. I don't want to dwell on this.
Okay. Will, don't be mad at me, please.
So you've cut 2 shows and 1 masterpiece.
Oh, Jesus, you have to do it like that. You have to do me like that?
Hey, man. I mean, like, I thought we were doing this as a good anime palette, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, good. Oh,
wow. Not throwing you under the bus. I'm joking.
Jesus Christ.
I'm joking. I do have my own opinions about season 2 of Promise Neverland, but
Slime?
Slime Isekai? Okay.
Season 2?
Yeah, we'll talk.
Very good, but also just... I mean, I liked it more than Quintuplets. Not as much as I liked Promise Neverland, but as I said, we'll get into that. But I did drop that. Yuru Camp, another good slice of life, very good show. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I mean, what else do I have on here? I'm trying to like buy time at the same time to...
Well, I think that you also had stuff like the Spider Isekai.
Yeah, which, okay, so I have yet to watch that too. Not because I didn't want to. I mean, I should just stop saying that excuse, because I actually do want to watch all of these shows. I just need to get around to it. So, Log Horizon, but then we watched Log Horizon together. It's season 1 at least, and we thought it was okay. Pretty good.
It was good. I think that it...
Towards the end was a bit...
To be fair, I don't really care too much about the isekai genre.
I mean, neither do I, but...
In terms of like the isekais I have watched, that's probably the one where like, oh, it was okay, it was decent. And then it got kind of boring.
Okay, I'm just going to say this right now before Will says it. Will and I both hate ReZero.
Yeah.
Okay, look. We are probably going to...
Lose listeners.
I mean...
If you're still around, that's amazing, by the way.
I appreciate it. I appreciate so much.
Yeah,
you guys are the best.
But now that you know that we don't like ReZero, you can quit the show. You don't have to listen to this anymore.
Yeah, man.
But we can talk about that another time.
Yeah.
But neither of us are watching ReZero this season.
Yes. Or, I mean...
Or at all.
At all, really. I mean, no, I did watch part of season 1 and then realized I didn't like it.
I watched it enough to also
I mean, since we're trying to discredit ourselves as people with good palates, we also don't like Made in Abyss.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
I finished it, the first season, but... nah, man.
So there's like, what, 10, 11 episodes of Made in Abyss? I got to episode 8.
Dude, and you got to the part that a lot of people were like, dude, this is dope.
And I still could not see why.
I thought it was dope, though.
I went through 80% of the anime, and I still thought, yeah, this is worth dropping.
Okay, yeah. Jesus Christ, we're... Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, okay.
So we dropped... So we're not talking about that.
Biori?
Non Biori, yeah, that one, I can't say that I know much about it.
Slice of life, really dope, really cute. But yeah, it's, with this slice of life, it's really good, but it's also like I know what to expect. Is just putting the characters in different situations. It's cute, it's fluffy, it's wholesome. Let's move on.
Yeah, okay.
Heaven's design team. So this one's the one that's a bit iffy. And I haven't watched it yet.
You're going to have to lay it on the listener. Maybe like a quick summary.
Wait, you know what's it about, right?
I don't know. That's why I'm listening.
It's based on a manga. Yeah.
About heaven?
You're not wrong. It's literally about a group of people in heaven designing animals and organisms and how they go about designing them. And it's literally like them at a table or in heaven discussing the minutia of designing animals.
Like someone in heaven decided, oh, that's a cute horse. Why don't we make its neck really long?
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh my god. There's literally an episode. There's literally a part about it. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, why make it long? Because it's cool. No, because I'm not even going to talk about it. Yeah. Sorry. Oh my god. Yes. That happens.
That actually happens.
That happens.
That's
like I'm
not
not trying to be a douche about it. No. It really does happen.
Okay, all right. Well,
Wait, how many shows is that? I've lost count already.
you talked Eurocamp, Slime Isekai, you talked Spider Isekai. You've also talked about well, ReZero's not this
No,
season,
it's not.
no.
It's not even in question.
You also talked about Log Horizon. Uh, let's just say there's a lot of shows you've dropped.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of shows I dropped. So
Right.
then the ones that I ended up watching, Other Side Picnic is the one.
But you finally watched it. Yeah. And
Okay, so for those of you who are unaware, Other Side Picnic is a science fiction shoujo ai / yuri light novel that then got adapted to a manga that then got adapted to an anime. I think I read parts of the light novel. Oh my god, that was that I don't want to read light novels. I don't.
that's a whole different thing. And
Yeah.
This is a strict like anime and occasionally, if not a
We
lot,
might,
manga.
however,
Yeah.
surprise, surprise, we might have a friend who dabbles in light novels and visual novels.
Yeah, if he's cool enough, we might bring him on the podcast. as a
If he's
guest.
cool enough.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
So, what are your thoughts on Other Side Picnic?
It's all right.
That sounds really disappointing.
Yeah, because the manga is pretty good. In fact, the manga is very good, and the light novel is better.
Okay. I'm hoping that the rest of the shows that you've been watching are better than this.
Yeah, it is better than this. But so originally, it's directed by the Steins Gate guy,
Okay.
and as you know, Steins Gate is
It's one of my favorite.
and I've yet to watch it. Don't kill me.
It's okay. Not everyone understands the complexity behind Steins Gate.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to watch it, but yeah, it's fine. The problem is that it is only fine.
Sometimes fine's just not enough.
It is not enough.
Yeah.
The other problem is, I think a lot of people do not understand what they were getting into. So, if I can give everyone a very, very quick primer. Other Side Picnic is a riff off of Roadside Picnic, which is a Russian science fiction novel that came out ages ago, like I think 1970s, 1980s. And the reason why they call it Roadside Picnic is because it's about Roadside Picnic is about a bunch of you know the video game series Stalker?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like a bunch of people going into like radioactive wasteland or like dangerous territories to get artifacts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so literally, Other Side Picnic is Stalker, the video game, in anime form, except it stars two women who are kind of into each other. And you may think like, oh great, more Yuri stuff. But actually, they don't really go too deep into the Yuri stuff. In fact, if anything, it's pretty hardcore science fiction. And for me, that was pretty dope. But the problem is, people who hear that it is anything to do with Yuri will avoid it because it's Yuri, even though it really isn't. The people who like Yuri who watch it will be like, this is technically not really Yuri, it's more science fiction. So yeah,
it's just it can't please both sides, right?
And I think that's why it has gotten a lot of flack. Also, it is fine as an adaptation, but doesn't really do anything exceptional.
So basically, you don't need to move beyond the manga as of yet.
Yeah, but I feel like I'll see how it goes. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, that's more or less everything that is worth mentioning that is unique to me.
Right.
What about you?
So, one show that I've been watching, more like I've only watched one episode, and I'm debating whether I want to drop it, is Kimono Jihen.
Kimono Jihen. Actually,
Yes.
it's funny because I told our Discord group about Kimono Jihen, but I actually did not watch it.
So I thought, why not have a look? It's got, a little demon slayer. There's demons in it. What could possibly go wrong with it?
Isn't there animals?
Yeah. So there's actually no demons at all. They're just demonic animals.
Yeah.
So it's basically a little kid who goes around and beats up and kills animals that have been possessed.
Okay.
It sounds like it should be cool now. It's actually quite dry. I think that it's one of those shows where it's
It
like
looks kind of pretty,
it's
actually.
it's really one of those shows where it's like it's if you watch it, it's cool, but there are so many better alternatives.
Dude, that is like the mantra of this season, to be honest.
Yeah, there are a lot of shows where like if you just only cared for what's happening right now, then sure, go ahead and watch it. But if you are okay in terms of doing a little bit of research or maybe digging a little into like the backlogs of Netflix, of Crunchyroll, you will find better shows to watch. I can tell you to find better alternatives to Kimono Jihen, but I'd say it's not necessarily something you should watch. If you're not watching much this season, check it out. You don't really have to.
What else, Will?
To be fair, that's for the most part like stuff that I've been watching on my own. I haven't actually gone around to watching Bungo Stray Dogs 1 because
I was about to ask you about that.
As I actually cannot find it. I cannot find where to watch it, and I found a trailer. It's like, okay, I'll check it out. It's just chibi Bungo Stray Dogs. So I knew that going in, but then I realized, yeah, just the Bungo Stray Dogs part wasn't enough for me to appreciate the chibi in it. So
all right, so now that we have done with each of our unique stuff, let's go into the stuff that we've been watching as a group. Now, I feel like we should start low and go high. So let's start with X-Arm, shall we? Oh, wait. Before we
hold on.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
When you say go low, you do not mean to go underground.
Oh,
right?
Jesus Christ, you are not. Okay,
because holy shit.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Holy shit, X-Arm was trash. Was fucking trash.
So I gave Will some numbers before the podcast, and let me just find out.
If you're trying to break records, this is not how you do it.
Speaking of breaking, okay. So actually, do you know? Okay, so we're gonna use Mal and Reddit as a benchmark because that's what we frequently visit.
Yeah, it's easily accessible. It's a community based kind of platform.
Yeah, I think a lot of people know of these two platforms, and many of them use it. Many of you listeners will probably use it, or at least have heard of it. My God, X-Arm was horrendous. Like so. I remember when I was like, "Yo, the first episode of X-Arm aired." And then I took a photo of the Mal and circled the score, and I think it was 2.41. And you and I both said the same thing, and we were just like, we gotta watch this.
So at the time when you showed it to me, it was a 2.41.
Oh God, Wait, hold on, let me guess. 2.34.
2.24.
You shut up.
It's currently ranked the fourth worst rated anime of all time on my anime list.
Oh my God.
It managed to only beat Mars of Destruction by 0.01.
You shut up. Okay, we haven't seen Mars of Destruction either, but I saw clips of it. It's pretty bad.
It's the third worst ranked anime on Mal.
Oh my God.
It's quite a feat to be only 0.01 above that.
So I think as a general principle, we try to consume as much of anything to be able to get a good picture of our opinion.
We consumed a lot. We watched the trailer and we saw how terrible it was.
Hey, Simple Plan, right? Simple Plan wannabe music.
It literally looked like,
dude, and the trailer music, which I thought was a joke, the Simple Plan sounding song, that is actually the OP for the anime.
It looked like a high school project that gave up halfway.
Dude, it is, man.
Because how is it possible that you have half the show in 3D but have one lazy eye and part of the mouth not animated, and then the characters in the background be 2D?
So remember,
and even the 2D's done terribly.
So remember, like a minute ago, I said we tried to get a good picture of things by consuming as much as possible. We couldn't even finish the first episode.
It wasn't much of a picture to look at.
We were so ready for dumpster fire train wreck.
We thought this might be like the Room of anime, where it was so bad that there were other ways to appreciate it.
You mean like Cross Ange?
Yeah, the Cross Ange, right? That's a show that we can definitely talk about if it's trash but good. This is actually just hot garbage.
Oh, so bad.
It was.
I think we got to a fight scene with machine guns.
Yeah,
and then we we were just like,
That was only 8 minutes in.
and and we're just like, no. Let's just move on.
So we dropped that immediately, and then we moved on to...
Probably one of my favorite hyped shows of the season,
I think this is all you, but Horimiya.
Horimiya is based on a manga called Horimiya. Okay, so... Well, okay.
Isn't it like Hori meets Mia or
No, it's
Hori,
like
Hori
it's like
something?
Hori-san and Miramura-kun.
Okay, yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
basically
that's
it started off as a 4-koma panel manga.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got an OVA, I think of like 4 episodes done by fans that or like
It was a fan-made OVA.
it was like a project like funded by fans.
Almost like a Kickstarter kind of thing.
Kickstarter kind of thing, yeah.
Right.
Except it was pretty decent. But it was very more chibi looking.
That kind of reminds me of like when Trigger did the Kickstarter for Little Witch Academia.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something
Okay.
like that. Except it is more amateurish.
So actually, like actual Kickstarter, not like a Kickstarter that was started by an actual studio.
I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't look very... It looks fine.
Right.
And it's pretty decent.
But this one looks gorgeous.
So then, the manga got remade from a 4-koma panel into what we now know as just Horimiya.
Yeah.
And a redone art by a new artist, which drawn very well.
Mm-hmm.
And then this manga got adapted into an anime now known as Horimiya. Same name as the redone manga. Made by who, Will? Do you know?
I'm going to say this right now. Just like how I said that MAPPA was the studio of 2020,
Yeah.
Cloverworks is going to be the studio of 2021.
Yeah.
They're doing work.
They're doing work, bro.
Horimiya, look, for myself, I don't really care too much about slice of lives, rom-coms. Those,
I mean, you have some experience.
Some. I mean, like, my personal favorite would be Honey and Clover, but I
Yeah.
hadn't watched that since, 2008, when
Yeah.
I was, like, 17.
Right.
So, this is, like...
Way to
actually,
date yourself there.
It's fine. I don't care how... You can figure out how old or young I am. My palate wouldn't change over 17 years.
Just so you know, I'm older than Will, so.
Yeah, thanks, Senpai.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
So, Horimiya, at least for me, right, watching it, for the most part, if you're not too keen on anything that is slow, built on like actual like character bonding and relationships and development, may not be a show for you. But the one thing that you can't help but appreciate is the artwork that Cloverworks put into the animation.
It's gorgeous. It is so
beautiful
gorgeous.
show. It is a beautiful show. And, some of the quips that the characters have, the dialogue, the actual slow budding relationship that the two main characters have, you can get yourself invested into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not necessarily something that I'm going to, like, say, oh, I absolutely recommend this show. But, for someone who wants to slowly get into, like, and branch out into other genres, it's not bad to start.
Dude, it is. So I read Horimiya up to, I think, volume 14, so way ahead.
Right.
I have been praising it to high heavens. So when the anime got announced, I was so looking forward to it. And I think they did an amazing job. First of all, I love the OP. The ED is all right. OP is catchy as hell. And it looks gorgeous, too. The voice actors and actresses are all...
They pretty much match what you were expecting, or you thought they would
almost
have,
all
right?
of them, yeah. And the color palette's really good. I think Cloverworks did a super good job. So I am very looking forward to how things pan out, and I think it looks great. It will be good. It will probably be my anime of the season, probably, excluding Attack on Titan.
But that one's a given, right?
That one's a given, so I'm trying not to cloud my judgment in that.
Well, if we're going to continue on the Cloverworks train, we got to talk about Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah.
Wonder Egg Priority.
Okay, so
is...
before I let you continue, would you say Wonder Egg Priority is essentially the Akudama Drive of last season?
Which is another show that you absolutely need to watch. That in our 2020 recap,
we will go in depth.
We will
into
talk
that.
about Akudama Drive.
Hey, I'm taking full credit for that, and then you can take full credit for Wonder Egg. Okay, I'm taking full credit for Akudama.
Personally, I really liked Cloverworks. right? I mean, like they did Millionaire Detective. They did,
which I think was all right.
it was okay. I liked it, but like, you can't help but deny you can't say anything about the art. The art is good.
Good.
Bunny Girl Senpai as well. They did that one too.
I watched it, including the movie. Bunny Girl Senpai wholeheartedly endorse and think it's the best. Not best, but like really, really good.
It's one of their more well-known, like, if not more like successful shows, right?
Yeah.
And then of course we were just talking about Horimiya, which is also really beautiful. So they've done good work. So when it comes to talking about Wonder Egg Priority, look, like a lot of the shows we've been talking about, like for example, like Promised Neverland 2 was also done by Cloverworks. Horimiya, Wonder Egg Priority is an anime original done by the studio by a rookie screenwriter, a rookie scriptwriter. It's the first property that the person's done, and it's fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Wonder Egg Priority is it's quite amazing, actually.
It's one of those shows where, like, when you think of the name itself, it doesn't really give much of an idea of like what it's supposed to be. Like, literally, Wonder Egg Priority, what are you supposed to infer from it? I mean, the word wonder, at least, it connotes something positive. But if I was to ask you, what do you think of Wonder Egg Priority meaning?
Those words come together, I have no idea. And to be honest, after the first episode, I think wait, there's 2 episodes that came out.
Right, so I think,
but we only saw the first episode.
We only watched the first episode so far. I think that when we were going in, you and I agreed. Mm-hmm. We go in dark. We do not look at any trailers. We do not look at who's voice acting. We just know who the studio is, but we don't do any prior research whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And so then we started watching, and the first thing we noticed is, yes, this is absolutely a Cloverworks property. They've done work. It looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it does look like an art house project, right?
And then shit hit the fan.
Dude, so I did not expect it to... Okay, wait. We should probably not...
It's fucking crazy. You should watch the show. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, okay, that's all we're going to say. It's really good.
Just trust me, bro.
Bruh.
Or girl. Anybody, just trust me.
Whatever. Ladies and gents, whatever, in between, everyone, just give yourself do yourself a favor and watch Wonder Egg Priority. If
you're not gonna watch Horimiya, you should watch Wonder Egg Priority.
No, do both.
Do both. Support Cloverworks. I'm telling you, they're gonna do work this year. Right?
Yeah.
Promised Neverland Season 2, Horimiya, Wonder Egg Priority.
Yeah, sure. Promised Land Season 2. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think. So again, like that's actually yeah, that's what I've been watching. I forgot about that. Promised Neverland Season 2.
Yeah, go into that.
I absolutely loved Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 was great.
I mean, okay, I'll be very honest. Season 1 is great as well. I really like Season 1 with the cat and mouse chase.
Okay, and like, there's not much of that in the second season so far.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, okay, if we want to talk about Season 2, we should probably talk Season 1. And at this point, if you haven't seen Season 1, I mean, what is your take on this, Will? Should we spoil Season 1?
I mean, if you haven't watched it, like, what's wrong with you? Go and watch it.
Okay, so then
it should be on Crunchyroll, right?
Right. Yeah. So don't spoil it, is what you're saying.
Nah.
We can
talk a little bit about it.
I mean, I did mention a cat and mouse game. Let's just say the genre changes. It's very apparent that after Season 1 was over, that
basically when one of the major arcs gets resolved, it's a big turn.
Yeah,
it's not quite the same, but that's what happens whenever you go through something that is like that exhilarating and that insane. You have to have a bit of a down period to get the audience back up on the hype train.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think that's what it is. I think like so far, Season 2 is more of like a transition kind of arc. Getting the studio to produce more work, but at the same time, giving the audience a little bit of a breather, just so they get ready for some real heavy hitting stuff. Later
They
on.
announced that it was going to be 11 episodes.
11 episodes,
which is like one episode or
Short-
2 episodes less of a cur, because usually a cur.
12 to 13 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. So when I first heard that news, I was like, that doesn't sound good. But from one of our mutual friends who has read all of it,
Yeah, he's at least way more caught up.
way
than we are.
way more caught up.
And it ended about a few months ago. So
Yeah.
there is actually quite a lot for us to catch up on if we were to read. I'm not sure. If all of
And
it
this
is
mutual
depth.
friend said that, yeah, it is a build up. Like this season 2 anime is a build up for what would be the next season if it were to happen.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is, if you like Promised Neverland, I mean, I really liked it. That's why I would give second season a viewing. I would probably watch more of it. I don't think I would drop it because at least I'm hoping that it would prepare me for season 3, however long it takes for that one to come
fine.
out.
I will put it back on the list. I'll think about it.
I think so.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, it's definitely worth putting on the list. Other shows that I think we've been really getting into, and this
before you get into, let's just do a quick fire one. Skate.
don't watch it.
It's about skateboarding.
Okay, watch it if you want some really dumb kind of like Tokyo Drift ripoff. I don't know.
Initial D, man.
Yeah.
It is basically Initial D. They have the course,
the same course design,
yeah.
if not the same location.
No, it's not the same location. So it's about
It looks
skateboarding.
exactly the same.
It's like, what do you call street boarding? I don't know.
It's literally just like fast paced, down like incline street skating, like street skateboard street skating. So
Yeah.
It's fast paced, it's colorful, and it's done by Bones. Bones Studio is an original by Bones. They're known for their very popular My Hero Academia series, and I think that's it's obviously something that's, if you hear the name, you immediately know that this is going to be a well done show. I think that's we're talking about a studio that has put in work. My issue with Skate, on the other hand, though, is besides it looking beautiful,
And I think the last, last quarter, last third is like the race.
yeah,
And the race was actually done pretty well.
really, really well.
But
The dialogue is stupid.
and the archetypes are everywhere. The stereotypes are everywhere.
You got the swole like adversary in the beginning with the clown makeup. You've got like the ninja who like is very secretive.
We are not lying. There is a kind of ninja.
These are not spoilers, by the way. These are all people that show up in like
The OP
the title card.
in the trailer.
Yeah.
You get the overexcited, hot-blooded main character. You get the not cold-blooded, but like off kilter, you get brutish.
You get the sexy female. They're not ninjas. They just wear masks, right? And they're just it's like
know.
they're like some sort of like sexy entourage.
No, the masquerade. Yeah,
The masquerade, yes,
yeah,
yes,
there
yes,
you
that's
go.
the word,
Like
that's
a
the word.
burlesque. No, yeah, masquerade. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's the stereotypes are just everywhere. It's it literally feels like the show is trying so hard to be bad, but it looks so beautiful that for some reason you kind of enjoy watching it, but regret watching it afterwards.
So I think I said this to you, Will, that we watched the first episode of Skate. If we were to watch, I don't know, the last 2 episodes of Skate, and not watch episode 2 onwards to the second last episode, I feel like we would miss zero stuff, or we would know exactly what's going on. With me predicting that the last arc is their race course is in jeopardy because, I don't know, and this is purely conjecture because it's a anime original, so I'm just spitballing here. The police will close down the park or something of that nature, and they have to battle their way back.
like a Need for Speed kind of situation.
Exactly.
I think that one of the main characters is going to break a leg and they can't compete in the final race, and therefore the other main character has to take their spot and they end up losing. And then they realize that there was actually, it's not about racing, it's about the friendship you make along the way.
Dude, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't watch that show.
Don't watch that show.
And it's disappointing, honestly, because with the name Bones attached to it, you would think this at least should be an entertaining show, and in some ways it is entertaining. It's just not good entertainment, if you get what I mean. It's not.
So earlier I said things were fine, but it wasn't worth consuming. This is like below average, but also fine, but like less fine. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just saying
It hits a very specific niche
that
right?
I feel like is not what we're looking for.
That we don't fall into.
We don't fall into that.
Yeah. So I'd say pass.
Hard pass.
And
Maybe we'll report back in and watch the last 2 episodes and see if our predictions, like a time capsule, if we're right or not.
Yeah, we talked about like this season, like having like a lot of good shows. So far, we talked about some stuff we don't really care for, but I mean, look, right? Horimiya, watch. Wonder Egg, watch. Skate, nah, don't worry about it. Attack on Titan, definitely watch.
And we will catch up.
You will absolutely catch up. There is another show.
Yes,
That we mentioned in a different form.
Yes, we did mention in a different form.
Right. So Jason mentioned, as I did as well afterwards, that Cells at Work. Both of us have watched a certain number of episodes, but then after a while it got a little bit dry, a little bit boring, and then we decided to drop it. So if you aren't caught up in terms of the show, you might not also know that they have a series of extension manga, right? So they have like Cells at Work Black. They have Cells at Work, I think like
Bacteria,
right?
And they have Cells at Work and Friends.
Yeah. So there's like
and I think more too. Actually,
yeah, a bunch of like side manga.
I think there's a platelet one.
One of which, so one of the extension mangas recently got an anime adaptation. Cells at Work, Code Black.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
It's pretty good.
It's depressing though.
So I feel like if we didn't watch original Cells at Work,
we wouldn't have actually really talked about Black. I don't think. I think if we were to just talk about Cells at Work and then that's it, and then we just dropped it, then like we probably wouldn't have gone around to talking about Cells at Work Black. But I think curiosity kind of brought us into like, okay, well,
Right.
I mean, generally, anytime you have,
so
it's like My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes. You add extra work to it, then cool, right?
Right.
Then you're intrigued to check it out. I think the same thing happened with Cells and Cells Black.
So, for listeners who have not watched Cells at Work and don't even know what's it about, I'll just give you a quick summary of what Cells at Work and the property is about. Think the human body, but
the human body, but like within the human body, but not like science like TV show like the stuff you watch in science
what was
classes.
that like American show? Shoot,
Magic School Bus?
no, not Magic School Bus. Although they did have a human body episode.
Yeah.
They had what was it? It was about like a white blood cell, but like basically imagine. I think Bill Murray was It's like, anyways, the show.
Are you talking about Osmosis Jones?
Yes, Osmosis Jones. I'm actually yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Because don't you think Cells at Work is basically Osmosis Jones?
Yes.
Yes. So basically, Osmosis Jones or Cells at Work is essentially, or actually, I'll just say Cells at Work is essentially, imagine your body as like a city or like a, yeah.
It's a slightly more educational version of
Very,
Osmosis Jones.
yes. And
Yeah.
like almost like every red blood cell is a person, every white blood cell is a person.
Yeah, we personify every element of the human body.
Like the brain is like a command center.
Every cell, not like the liver. It's like the enzymes that come from the liver, the blood cells that come from the blood, and all that. Like they will have like human representation.
Right. So, Cells at Work is a very cutesy show. The original.
It's very much like if you were watching like shows about cooking, shows about sports. It's like it helps you get like a beginner or like
Introduction.
entry level kind of understanding
Yeah.
of the topic. In which case, this is about cells in the human
Also,
body.
it's very kawaii.
It is
Like the
really-
platelets.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that character design is like, what's it like elementary school kids being all like, like, hey, let's all.
We're little platelets. We're gonna
Yeah.
bandage up these veins so that they don't bleed out anymore.
Yeah, hey, this is under construction.
1, 2, 1, 2. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, cool. This is
And then the
actually,
white blood cells like murder
Yeah.
bacteria, and then the red blood cell, which is voiced by who? In the original series, I know. I'm just giving you the opportunity.
No, I'm just saying the name carries a lot of weight.
Oh, Jesus.
You can't just
Oh my God.
all willy nilly. Just
Dude, this is a family-friendly podcast, man.
I know, but I'm just saying that like I have a lot of respect for this voice actress.
Yes, me too.
Right.
Mhm.
She's basically in everything.
Yes, and
To be fair, actually, if we name any of the shows,
chances are, if you were to like guess, you would more often than not be able to guess this voice actress.
Yeah, like if we were to say like, hey, like if we were to say Psychopaths,
Yeah.
right? If we were to say
Uh-huh.
Steins Gate,
Yeah.
If we were to say Tokyo Ghoul,
Yeah.
right? If we
Yeah.
were to say Monogatari series,
Yeah. Also, wide range of different types of roles.
It's Kanahana.
It's Kanahana. I mean, if you're into anime, you would probably have heard that name one way or the other.
She is one of the most renowned, one of the most
Prolific.
prolific, hardworking as heck.
Yeah.
She's everywhere, and she does a damn good job everywhere she goes.
So she plays the red blood cell in original Cells at Work
It's
season 2.
It's a big cell, haha. Get it? It's a cell to have her as the VA. Ha.
Anyways,
I'll show myself out.
yeah, you show yourself out. Get the fuck out. So Cells at Work, Cold Black. What's so special about this offshoot of Cells at Work?
So
Will.
Cells covers
Edgelord William.
what happens when a human body gets sick, right? Like imagine if it gets a cold or a stomach ache or there's like muscle cramps and whatnot.
Which, by the way, original Cells at Work also tackles to a certain degree.
Right. So that's what the original one is. They do the same thing in Cult Black, but rather than like natural occurrences, it's more what would happen if the body that you're in is deliberately destroying itself.
What do you mean by destroying itself, Will?
The first episode was talking about what happens in the body of a smoker. Now, I don't know if anybody here smokes. Don't smoke. Smoking is terrible for you. But the show, it makes it even worse somehow because you know it's bad for you. But when you start attaching human elements to the cells and see them like succumbing to carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah. So not everyone is a smoker, that's obvious. But what about episode 2? What does that... We haven't watched it, to be fair. But what... We know what it talks about because we saw the preview.
There was someone like in the on like the anime subreddit talking about having a discussion on Cells at Work Black. It's like,
that.
smoking is terrible for you. I don't think after watching this episode, I don't think I'll ever smoke. And it's like, wait till next week when they start talking about drinking alcohol and what happens.
Yeah.
To your body.
So that's episode 2. It's drinking alcohol now. I'm going to wager a guess, Will.
What?
I don't think, comparatively speaking, a lot of people smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people drink alcohol, including you and me.
Yeah. So I guess
I mean, maybe not drink till we're alcoholics, but we drink alcohol.
I'm guessing that a lot of people who watched the first episode, like the smoking episode, a lot of the people in the subreddit were like, "Yeah, this is probably like funny enough. One of the reasons why I will end up quitting smoking because of this show."
And that's like the best PSA ever, right?
Yeah. So I wonder what happens now after you and I watch episode 2 when they talk about what happens when you drink.
I don't know. Will we stop drinking? I doubt it. We'll see. We'll report back. We'll report back.
We may come back even more depressed.
So not
today.
only is this human body destroying itself, the tone, you could say, is very dark.
It's serious.
Dark, like
Very
like
serious.
black.
No remorse whatsoever. It's just unhappy.
So to give you a rough context, for people who have watched original Cells at Work, the platelets are really cute, as we said, like, really nice, friendly, kawaii, right?
Instead, they make them like
In black.
They make them baseball bat bearing, like Osaka,
Like delinquents, right?
Osaka
Oh
dialects.
my God.
Nandere boge!
Oh my god.
What are you looking at, huh, punk? Like, that kind of
Get
thing.
out of my way. And then like all the red blood cells are just like depressed and just down and out, like giving up hope.
Just like, there is no hope. All you do is just put on a smile and just keep on working.
Yeah,
it's the only way you can put up with this bullshit.
That's the only way I can feel anymore. Actually, wait, I got nothing there.
Yeah.
My God.
Watch it.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good. And this is coming from someone who thinks Cells at Work is fine, the original, but
it's okay. It's quite mid.
It's quite mid, yeah.
It's not. It was like you didn't have to watch the whole season to appreciate it, and that in itself is like kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. Where it's like, yeah, I know it's a good show. I just don't need to watch all of it.
Yeah.
Cells at Work Black, on the other hand, that one
we're pretty invested right now. So we're saying
it's pretty easy for you to just watch it, and yet it's gonna be depressing, but it's gonna be very educational
and possibly good for your health.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
no joke.
If you ever wanted to think, hey, maybe I want to start smoking, watch the episode first. Then you know how.
Then decide.
Yeah. Do you want to kill red blood cell cone? Huh?
Oh Jesus!
No.
Oh, that's the other thing that we should mention before we get off of Cells at Work Black, which is everything is gender swapped.
Yes.
So in Cells at Work Original, the white blood cell is a guy, and the red blood cell is Kanahana, which is a female.
And then you flip it.
But then in Cells at Work Black, the white blood cell is a very well endowed.
I think they actually missed a step by actually not casting Kanahana as the white female.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
It actually would have been fucking funny if they did that, but she's busy as shit. So
also, she might be too expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, you only get her once, right? Like, if you've done it for Cells at Work, you don't think that she's gonna try and, get you to pay her double to do Cells at Work Black?
I don't know.
Who knows?
You'll see. And then, obviously, the red blood cell is a dude.
Yeah. So I think in terms of like the currency, look, we're talking about shows that we have watch at least an episode and beyond, right? So Cells at Work Black, watch it. Wonder Egg Priority, watch it. Horimiya, watch it. Jason will say it's a must watch.
Yep.
And then also like, if you aren't watching Attack on Titan yet, definitely check that out.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Don't watch Skate. Don't watch Skate. Don't watch Kimono Jihen. Do not watch X-Arm. Like, this is not one of those April Fools.
This is not reverse psychology. This is not reverse psychology.
We're not telling you to not do it. We're telling you just straight up, just do not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Will, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, I think that's we're probably going to be doing a bit of a wrap up at the end.
Yeah, but we're gonna take a short break and then come back and maybe talk a little bit more and then. This
is where the second sponsor comes in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
the Genshin
exactly.
Impacts and the Crunchy. No, the
wow, you're calling it out now, huh?
All that stuff, right?
Dude.
Did you ever play Raid Shadow Legends?
Oh, wow, you're doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, guys, we'll be right back after this.
Back for the final segment of today's episode, which is unfortunately the wrap up, the final thoughts. So we've had a pretty fun time doing this. I know that it's been quite a long over 2 hours, but it felt like the time went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, we did talk a lot about everything anime manga related. Funny enough, we didn't get everything we wanted to cover, but we'll probably do that. Next episode, or
well, this is why we wanted to do this podcast, right? I mean, we have a lot to talk about, and unfortunately, 2 hours is really not enough. We will be rolling out more episodes in the future, and each one will be focusing on very specific topics, themes, and news that we want to share and discuss with you.
And as much as also stuff like we've been reading specifically, we won't touch on those things today, but. We'll also give you short updates on the seasonal stuff that we watch if we drop, add, or subtract, multiply, divide, anything.
Yeah, I think that we definitely have quite a lot on our palette
Yeah.
We want to be able to share the good word that is anime and manga.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to preface this. I don't know if we actually talked about it, but we are not only focusing on seasonal stuff as well. We will also focus on stuff that has been released before that you can access. You know, on Crunchyroll, Funimation, High Dive,
Netflix,
or like the manga stuff, like on Manga Plus and all that stuff, or anything that comes out on Bookwalker, for example. Like things that like we will cover past, present, and future. So it's not like, even though everything was about the present and a little bit of the past, we will talk about all three.
There is a lot of anime and manga that we want to talk about.
It's a big thing, right? I mean, we haven't even talked about Demon Slayer. That is just destroying everything.
The anime of 2020. The undisputed.
Manga and anime.
It's just destroyed everything. I think that, you know, if there is a standard, it's at a very high bar.
Right, definitely.
Right? And if anything does come close to it, you can't deny that it's a success.
So, before we, go to the outro, give credits, and, all that jazz, we'll just do a short summary about the stuff that we talked about. So, we sort of introduced ourselves a bit. I think we were going off on tangents, but I think that's one of our strong suits with things, and I feels more like you're talking to us, not as listeners and podcast hosts, but more like friends around a table that all into anime and manga. I think that is one of the things that we want to push, right?
Yeah, naturally, I think that when it comes to introducing ourselves, we don't necessarily need to tell you, who we are, what we do.
In fact, it doesn't really matter.
But what we do want to, show is that, through our discussions, through our thoughts and opinions of manga and anime, that you can kind of, create an idea of, our palettes, the kind of things that, that make us tick, the things that, kind of piss us off, the kind of things that, we feel strongly about.
And I feel like I think Will especially, he didn't have a lot of people to talk to about anime and manga.
Oh, far from it, yeah.
Yeah, I have a bit more because I've just been in it with anime and manga for quite some time. We have been having a long-lasting relationship. But I feel like this podcast is not only a good outlet for Will in particular, in terms of the two of us, but also for all you listeners out there who maybe don't have a lot of friends that can talk about anime or manga, or like, hey, Full Metal Alchemist is Brotherhood is pretty good compared to or more faithful adaptation of the first Full Metal Alchemist. Or if I say something like, hey, Studio Dean's Fate Stay Night and Ufotable's Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, huh?
Yeah.
Will and I would get it, but
I think when we're talking about, like, how we want to sort of present this podcast, like, we're not professionals. We don't do this as a day-to-day job.
But our palette
is very professional.
It's very professional.
Yeah.
It's godlike.
But what I'm trying to say here is that, we're not like Anitubers or YouTube commentators who, specifically try and push specific narratives or focus on, really hype things. It's always cool to talk about something that's, hot, that's in season. But we also want to sort of give a little guidance because of the fact that, we're just like, if you're listening to this and you like anime, we're not that much different from you, right? We may have, more experience when it comes to watching, more shows, reading more manga, but generally...
Or maybe you have read and watched more than we do, combined maybe.
Maybe you think you're wrong.
Yeah.
Right? But we think
all
you're wrong.
of the above.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the anime and manga discourse, whether it is through podcast form, YouTube form, audio, visual, they always talk about the seasonal stuff, the latest and greatest, the hot topic. But I feel like there are a lot of other topics that either don't get touched upon or get left out in the dust. That
the hidden gems as well.
That I feel like we can help fulfill that void, that we can help facilitate some sort of discussion, And
generally, like you're new to the anime world, or maybe you just don't have as much guidance to what to watch, what to consume. Hey, we'll do our best to be able to give you an overview of shows that we personally enjoy and that we think that
topics of discussion that I feel like, in a way, is timeless. You can always come back and listen to a previous episode of a topic of discussion that we will do because it may be very indicative of the anime and manga industry, even when you listen to this in the future.
Yeah, especially if you're saying that we're talking about themes that do also pertain to other forms of media. Right?
Yeah, that's
like,
correct.
Like mainstream movies, like comic books, and all that. And then like how there are certain topics that are taboo in, for example, like anime and manga, but are not as like shunned when you talk about more Western like based media.
I mean, that in of itself is a discussion topic that we plan on doing.
There's going to be a lot to unpack here, and to those who are still listening to this, we thank you very much for joining us on our first venture into
episode 0.
The podcast world is new to us, and we really do want to keep this going, no matter how many topics we have to go through.
Yeah, more to come, right?
More to come. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
As you know, this is sort of like a passion project of ours, and we have yet to upload. Even though we have bought the domains, we have yet to finish designing the webpage because neither Will or I are very art savvy,
web page savvy.
Despite the fact that I love Blue Period, we still have not developed the know-how to be very artistic.
Yeah, we're definitely still trying to find our feet. But I think this is a platform that we're ready to get on.
We do have an email account though, so if you want to send us feedback, positive, negative, any sort of suggestions,
hate mail for the haters,
just don't do death threats, please. Don't dox us.
Yeah, don't dox us.
Don't dox us, please. You can reach us at gapalette@gmail.com.
That's GAPALETTE @gmail.com.
That's correct. And just a few cleanups. Our intro music is Green Lights by Jahzzar from the album Tumbling Dishes Like Old Man's Wishes, which is
such a good song, though.
It's a pretty good song.
Interesting name, but such a good song.
We got the album from the Free Music Archive, which you can find in the podcast description. Our break music is Min 2019 by minwbu. Apologies if I butcher the pronunciation. Our outro music is What You Thinking, the instrumental version by Wata Boy. And both our break music and our outro music can be obtained from Pixabay, which will also, links to all that will be available in the description as well. So yeah, Will, just I guess, last 10-15 minutes, final thoughts, anything you want to add?
I think that we cover quite a lot of things. We're very much covering all the new things that are coming up this season. We briefly talked about stuff that came out in the last year. Maybe we've been talked a little bit about some of the manga we've been reading.
I mean,
but that's
Tokyo Ghoul, bro.
But that's we could talk. We'll have 5 episodes dedicated to Tokyo Ghoul.
We will not have 5 episodes dedicated to Tokyo Ghoul.
Fine, 4 episodes.
Okay.
So
okay, fine.
We will be talking about some of the stuff that mean a lot to both of us. Either just for Jason, just for me,
or both of us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we do want to bring to you, and hopefully we're able to keep this content going forward. We know that with the other commitments that we have in our lives, that
and COVID,
and COVID as well. We do the best we can to try and turn out this content. We do usually have a 2-week turnaround. I think that gives people enough time to watch up a couple of episodes of anime that they've been missing the season. Maybe spend some time reading some manga. For those who haven't started reading manga,
you totally should.
You're missing a step by not reading some stuff, because arguably some of the anime shows you love watching, the manga is better. I hate to be that person.
Or they're adapted from manga.
Yeah. So don't
light novel and visual novel though.
Yeah. I don't want a game to tell me that it's a game, but it's actually just a book with some pictures in it.
Dude, we are setting fires right now, right?
It's okay.
It's fine.
I mean, this is the good anime palette, not the good visual novel palette, right?
Oof. But I mean, we didn't put manga in anime.
Yeah, but where did anime come from?
Dude.
I mean, of course you're going to say, oh, but didn't Fate Stay Night start off as a visual novel? You know what? I don't care about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's an anime form, okay?
Yeah.
So
just give manga a shot. If you're gonna read light novels and play
or hey,
novels,
maybe you like reading light novels, maybe you like visual novels, and you're like, What the fuck, Will? What the fuck, Jason? Do send us your thoughts, and maybe, just maybe, we will be convinced. No guarantees.
Yeah, absolutely no guarantees. I think if you send me hate mail, you send shit to my doorstep, I probably still won't talk about it.
All right. I guess
this
is Jason signing out. I don't know how to end this. We got to end this somehow. How do we end this, Will?
No. We're not ending this.
No. We're not terminating this project.
Yeah. No, I got a bone to pick with you, visual novelist.
Jesus Christ. I'm out. Mic dropped.
All right. Well, thank you very much for listening. I hope that you'll be able to check in 2 weeks or so, or whenever we're able to get submitted. We will keep up a timely 2-week schedule. You'll be able to find us on the following platforms,
like
iTunes, like Apple Podcasts.
Wherever you want to get your podcasts, we will most likely be on there.
Once we get approved.
So,
yeah, thanks. Hopefully the podcast gods have been listening to this. Hopefully podcast god is a weeb. Do you think Podcast God would be a weeb?
I mean, Podcast God probably likes 3D over 2D, right?
Yeah.
So he likes X-Arm
and Land of Illustrious.
And Illustrious over...
And occasional segments of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And 3D Bears.
Oh, Golden Kamui. What are you doing, Will? We're trying to end the podcast here, not start one.
This is too fun.
I
think that once you get into this journey, you start realizing that there's just more than Dragon Ball Z. There's just more than One Piece, right? Like you know that
more than Shonen, basically.
More than Shonen. If we're gonna be talking,
we're not dissing Shonen. Okay,
so we started with Shonen.
Right?
Like
Jujutsu Kaisen, dope.
Yeah, very very good.
A lot of things on Shonen Jump, dope.
A lot of the Shonen like masterpieces that you have like out, a lot of them are on Netflix. So. You got a Netflix account?
We haven't even talked in depth about Spy X Family either.
We'll get onto it.
We'll promise. This outro is getting way too long. I was supposed to put the credits in at the very end, but we've already trailed off a bit. But anyways,
it's okay. We'll clip it in the podcast later to make sure that you know where to find your credits and all that. So thanks very much. This is Will signing out.
This is Jason signing out, and this is the Good Anime Palette podcast.
Sayonara.
See ya.